Francisco Shock just pulled off the much-needed victory over the Shanghai Dragons, 3-1. And with that, they will end the week 1-1. Though, we got to give it up for the Shanghai Dragons. That was a hell of a performance they put up today. Right. Got to give it up to them. All right, now for our last match of the night, we have the Seoul Dynasty going up against the LA Gladiators. Wow, lots of Gladiators fans up in here. So the Seoul Dynasty had kind of a rough start to the stage and barely inched out a victory against the Dallas Fuel earlier this week. So they're going to be looking to stabilize and be back to their normal selves in this matchup. And as for the LA Gladiators, they are back to normal today because they have Fisher back in the lineup. So y'all, Blizzard Arena, it's our final match of the night. You guys ready? They sound very ready. I know I am. So let's wrap this Friday up with a good one and send it over to the desk. Puckett, take it away, man.
Thank you so much, Malik. Welcome back, everybody. It's Puckett here at the desk, but I'm not by myself. Once again, it's the boys that live across the street and stare through their windows sometimes. It's Sideshow alongside Reinforce. Hey, guys, we got to wrap this night up with a great matchup. This is Gladiators versus Seoul Dynasty. And if you look at the stage standings, both of these squads are currently sitting with 2-1 records. A very meaningful match, though, for Seoul Dynasty, because with the win tonight, you got a chance to jump all the way up into the top 3.
Yes, and moving forward to the stage playoffs, I think that this match in particular could be a deciding factor for who is actually going to make it, right? Is it going to be Seoul or LA Gladiators? I think you have to pick one of them.
You look at the numbers here, the map counts really matter as well. And for Seoul Dynasty, this squad, they had a really rough start to stage 3. They went 0-4 against the Los Angeles Valiant in their first matchup, so that sets them behind. Then, of course, they get the win in their second match, but their third matchup was against the Dallas Fuel, and it went to a Game 5. Johnny, what was happening in that series? Who was impressing to help get the squad the victory?
We've talked a lot about the issues of the Seoul Dynasty overall, but I think we should highlight Fleta because he has been a standout player throughout the season, and most particular versus the Dallas Fuel. He had over 70% critical hit accuracy, that headshots only, over 70% in this game, and I mean, that was just sheer insane. So, despite the fact that Seoul Dynasty haven't had the best tanks or the best support this season, this guy keeps them alive, and he keeps being the difference maker to get these wins.
Yeah, we were talking about league MVPs earlier on, and I think Fleta would be a great shout for overall league MVP. He is so consistent in all of their performances, and he actually missed their game against the Houston Outlaws, and you're wondering why have they taken him out there? But I think Seoul are really struggling to fix their support line and their tank line, because previously, when Seoul Dynasty were the best team in the world, they had an incredible tank line and the best support line in the world easily with Jae-Hong and Toby. So in this match in particular, I want a real focus on Miro against Fisher, because Fisher, we picked him up. This guy is an incredible tank. Addition to the LA Gladiators was absolutely fantastic. His primal rage kills, his efficiency with those is easily the best in the league. He's incredibly aggressive. He has slightly more deaths than Miro, but he gets a lot of work done with them, and Miro needs to step up or he's going to get bullied in this matchup.
Now, we watched Miro play against OGE in that matchup against Dallas in their last meeting. So how did Miro match up against OGE? How does he match up against Fisher playstyle-wise?
The only problem for Dallas in that game was that OGE was overly aggressive sometimes. And so Miro, he didn't do that many mistakes, but we saw on Route 66 where OGE was really aggressive. Miro couldn't really keep up the pressure, and so Miro actually got bullied, and maybe it will turn out to be the same today.
Fisher could bully him. Something to look out for here today. I want to get the official predictions, and we're starting with you, Sideshow. We got two squads at 2-1 in stage 3. Where do you go in this matchup?
Well, I mean, we've got two squads at 2-1 in stage 3, but when you look at the overall standings, we really have a top-table team against a mid-table team here. And so even though Seoul Dynasty, they've looked a little shaky, they, I think, have fixed a lot of their issues and are coming in with a good roster. So I've got to go with the Seoul Dynasty for this one. I think they'll be able to take it over the LA Gladiators and kind of continue their upward trend.
So you're saying they've been better in the past. You know they've been Apex champions. Not going to help them now.
Hey, Johnny hitting them with the straight facts.
Yeah.
Before we move on, Johnny, before you can give your prediction, can we give a shout out to the people with the signs behind us? Look at some of this beautifulness. We got Fleta is the meta.
Wow,
Jae-Hong, the king is here. Johnny, go ahead, give me your prediction. We just hyped up Seoul. Are you going with them?
The signs are not going to help them today. LA Gladiators will win. Who is better than Fisher? Nobody!
They've lost 3 out of their last 5 matches. They're in the middle of the table. You're predicting, you're pandering to the home crowd, Johnny.
I want to hear from the audience. Who do you guys want to see win this one? Is it Seoul Dynasty? How many people want to see the Gladiators walk away with the victory tonight? We're in Los Angeles. That makes sense. It's time to get this party started as we welcome our first team to the stage. Please give it up for the 16-7 Seoul Dynasty. Miro bringing tissues out. Ready to mop up the Gladiator tears.
Yeah, he's going to wipe them all away. He knows there's a lot of fans in here that are going to be really salty.
That's not a tissue box. That's a blizzard box of some kind of loot. My bad. Way
Could
off.
have needed some on the desk. So this team, we have Sepper back in the lineup today because Sunba is out with a wrist injury. Or Zumba is actually in the lineup.
Zumba is back in the
feeling
lineup.
better.
Yeah. So he's just recently apparently recovered from his minor wrist injury that has kept him out for the previous couple of games. So coming back in on the off tank, they've got a slightly more solid roster here. More of what we would expect to be their A team, other than Wikid actually. That's a different addition, which I assume is because they're going into Anubis and they're going to want to play a lot of Junkrat here.
In the past, when we talked about Seoul's best support duos, we always said Jaehong alongside Toby. Gambler back in the lineup alongside Jaehong for the second time.
A lot of Mercy coming out because Toby isn't the best Mercy. Gambler, in the meanwhile, has
Really
proven
is.
to be really good pocketing Flera on the Widowmaker. So Mercy expected coming out today.
And Seoul have looked a little shaky overall on Anubis, but when you look at this map pool overall, if they can crack this kind of Widowmaker Junkrat composition on Anubis and Junkertown, they should be looking excellent. They have all the pieces.
I love these ladies screaming in the front row. They love their Seoul Dynasty. Keep it coming, ladies. That is your starting six for the Seoul Dynasty tonight. But it's time to find out who will they be playing against. Please give it up for our purple squad on the right side of the stage. It's your Los Angeles Gladiators. The Finnish support duo of Chaz and Big Goose coming out first. This Gladiator squad, 12-11. They've been shaky, they've been up and down, but right now you're 2-1. You didn't make it into the Stage 2 playoffs. They're trying to make it happen here in Stage 3.
The reason for that is they haven't really been able to deal with the Sombra, but Seoul Dynasty not really known for their Sombra play, and so I think they'll be a lot more comfortable on stage today. Hydration and Surefour in the lineup, that means a lot of Widowmaker and Junkrat for this first map to me. But they've played this in the past. Maybe Seoul Dynasty are well prepared for this.
And when we look at the historic data, when LA Gladiators play against Seoul Dynasty, they're pretty bad at shutting down Fleta on the Widowmaker. Fleta averages twice his normal KD against the LA Gladiators. So if there's somebody to focus, this team has to start shutting down.
Hey, that was without Fisher. Come on.
Sure, okay, so I think Fisher is a big addition to the team, but again, we're going to have to see whether one man can do it all, and that's the guy they're pinning their hopes on
He's
right
pretty
now.
handsome.
Most handsome tank right there. Fisher,
Who
ready
is
to
better
play
than
today.
Who is better than Fisher?
Nobody.
Maybe Miro.
Oh, okay.
Maybe
That's
Miro.
a
It's a
different
good battle to look out for. We have our match set up for us. Hydration and Surefour, your two starters in the DPS role for the Gladiators. All 12 players are on the stage. The match is ready to go. Make some noise, LA. It's time to send it to your casters to bring you the action. We got Summer with Hex.
Welcome, Puckett. Welcome everybody in the crowd, because obviously
Especially Puckett.
we get to do both of the Los Angeles games today, Hex, which is pretty sick considering the home fans are here. But yes, thank you, Puckett. Thank you to the desk. Thank you to Johnny in particular. You know, I like that it's Sideshow bringing up the stats, but I do expect to see Johnny wearing that shirt. You know, he's in prep school. He's got his abacus. They still use abacuses.
Yeah, looking at that shirt, it kind of reminds me of like when you get in a car accident when you're 16 with your first car and you can't afford to get like the new front panel from the same car, so you got like
So you put it together.
Yeah, you've got like an amalgamation of cars. Johnny has stitched two shirts together into one right there.
Oh, the school bus will be by later to pick him up, I'm sure. It'll be fine.
This is a kind of a statement game for both teams, I think. Seoul has not beaten very good teams so far. They've beaten teams they've been expected to beat, like your Shanghai, San Francisco. They had a very close one with Dallas, who's obviously improving, but they lost to the Valiant, they lost to Houston, so it's where do they actually stand with these middle of the pack teams? Are they better? Are they the middle of the pack again? And the Gladiators looking to kind of right this ship a little bit.
Absolutely. Outside, when the players were getting ready, the coaches were speaking to them, getting their heads in the game, and the coaches are saying, this is a must win, but we are capable of it. This is definitely one of those teams that Los Angeles Gladiators is capable of beating. And so now it's just going to be a question of whether or not the mental game gets the best of them. Are the LA Gladiators going to be able to keep it zeroed in and get the W tonight?
Yeah, it does seem like you're going to see a lot of Junkrat, a lot of projectile play coming out of Soul tonight, especially with Wakid in the lineup. We'll see if that stays. But this is a map pool that really lends itself to it. When we get to Nepal, you'll see a lot of Pharah, and even Junkrat Pharah, things along those lines. With the Los Angeles Gladiators are on the low ground with this horse, so it is the mini Shetland setup here. And of course, you're going to see a lot of Widow and Junkrat on the defense. On the offense, they will transition into full dive very often as well. We'll see what Soul has to practice.
And some body shots coming out through there for sure. He's doing quite a bit of hurt there to Miro, who is going to get around the corner. Unfortunately, the same can't be said for Zumba, who gets demeched and destroyed immediately. So that'll definitely slow things down here. For Soul Dynasty, I love it. You get the halt hook. You can also get the halt headshot. Surefour there to oblige.
Kind of cut in half right now. Soul's got to hope that they don't get dove upon up in this corner, but it seems like they're playing a little slow. There are 4 up there. Fleta on the Genji now as well, because it's very difficult to play on the Widow to try to crack this. So it's going to be a Junkrat Genji to try to break this defense. Surefour all alone on the high ground. Dive coming in below him, though. No one's really even going to pressure him.
That was a spicy headshot there to start things off, and he's going to be able to catch out Gambler. Only the body shot, though. Gambler dashing back, and guess what? Surprise! 2 tons of mech to the face. Zumba's there to push him off the high ground. Unfortunately for Zumba.
It's in a little bit of trouble.
Yeah, might get chased away by the skinny. Well, the skinny French sniper.
Soul's just been cut in half a couple different times. You're trying to get in. They're losing Zumba early. Now Zumba's in the back line, so Surefour's going to be trying to deal with him, and they know he's back there. Not going to give him a whole lot of attention. Shaz in the spot that you always want your Zenyatta, just chilling out, meditating on the medium ground there. He has a good scope of the battlefield, be able to throw out orbs in whichever direction. Now they're going to have to deal with a tire, though, as well, and Hydration's going to let it rip.
Yeah, no time wasted. Straight onto the tank. Said he gets the double kill as well. Excellent work. The defense right now looking so solid for Los Angeles Gladiators. They've got it all figured out.
I think Gambler was falcing there too. What a value tire out of that to completely negate that ultimate. And so far, no signs of cracking this Los Angeles defense on first point of Anubis.
Now you go ahead. You get that Widow on the high ground. Surefour really setting up shop up there. Shaz has got his trance as well, so he'll be waiting, ready to pull it out, as well as Big Goose with the Valks. I mean, right now, everything favoring Los Angeles Gladiators.
Anubis has been a mystery to Soul. They were full held on this map by the Valiant as well. They just can't seem to deal with the first point. Here comes the dive. A little coordinated, lands right into a trap. That's poaching Hydration. That's illegal.
Oh, that could not have gone better. Perfectly set up. Fisher will survive. He gets topped up by Big Goose, who had the preemptive Valk out just to snuff, or help to snuff, that push. Once again, cut in half here, Soul Dynasty. You've got 4 or 5 of them hanging out over here in the corner. They gotta wait for Miro to join up again.
Now, Miro should be able to get in here, even if he has to drop a bubble in, but they're gonna try to throw in a self-destruct. Interesting choice there, but perhaps just wanted, I don't know, a new mech, maybe just hoping to end a fight before it started. Now they will get in, fall a trap again.
Whoa, monster mine though. The rest of these net follow-up gets eaten up. Surefour with the headshot on Wakid, instantly rezzed up by Gambler, however, but that's the res used. And Fleta now looking for his angle. Gonna mess up his dash, unfortunately, but that's not gonna stop him from hacking a tire. And Big Goose to death. Wakid will be there to find Surefour in the end. And it's looking like Soul Dynasty will be able to push through here.
An enormous play to be able to drop the Mercy and get the tire in the same swing too. Only 2 tanks on the point for the Valiant, or excuse me, the Gladiators. I'm sure I made a lot of people wearing purple very unhappy with that mistake. They will finally grab point A off the back of several different ultimates needed for the Soul Dynasty, but still, it's very not optimal for them trying to get that first point. It's been a struggle.
Oh, wow. What a play. I mean, Hydration was desperate there in the corner. Man, he barely hung in there.
Not even sure if he saw the tire. You saw Mercy, the tire is incidental there. Soul does have Valk to go in on this if they want. They will pop it immediately and try to get some pressure. They've been reading the economy and know that Los Angeles doesn't have a whole lot to work with either.
Hydration needs to hit a couple of grenades real quick to be able to pick up that rip tire, try to snuff this play. Shaz does get the volley onto Wakid. Instantly canceled out by Gambler. Gambler Johnny on the spot really with these reses, but they don't have it going into the rest of this fight. Jaehong tries to get clever with a volley of his own, gets chased off of that high ground. He does have most of his team here to back him up, however, and Miro has found Surefour.
They can go in on this. The tire's gonna look for stuff over the top. They've given up their position. Another kill on the tire. Teams or it might have demeched the Diva actually. My apologies. Teams have gotten so good at killing these tires. Now I just assume they're dying. Surefour takes down Fleta. There goes another tire. Bites the dust.
Sick cancel there. Hydration with the mine, man. He's not missing much today. Jaehong with the trance. Gonna be keeping his teammates alive here a little while longer, while Wakid does find Beishu. Making progress on this point. Now it's a question of whether or not the Gladiators can stagger their way out here and start contesting, and they will not. Kind of remember, nearly 2 ticks picked up for Seoul Dynasty and only just now getting contested.
Fisher's got something to say about this, though. He gets the 1 kill that they really needed. Jayhung out of it. Here comes the Blade to try to bring it back.
Managed to find Shaz in that, and a second one as well before Hydration can get rid of him with the nades. 2 ticks worth of progress and working on a third here. Seoul Dynasty ramping up.
They've secured the 2 ticks, and it might be time to get out now. And if they do not choose to, they will be evicted anyway. But a long, drawn-out fight does go in Seoul's favor to get those 2 ticks. 72% will revert to 66. Hydration already working on another tire. Even before Junkrat was like super in the meta, he was always good on second point Anubis.
You got all these choke points. Exactly, look at this. Narrow alleys, perfect for grenades. Just throw them in there. Makes it very difficult to get in here without taking a lot of damage. And now Hydration even setting the trap. He's set up his shop. So let's see him get to work here. Surefour on the high ground, just poking and prodding. Seeing if he can't catch one of the squishies out of position. Go ahead and keep farming up that pulse bomb. That's going to be working pretty good as Hydration decides it's time to go with the tire. Straight in, and he does find Wakid in the end.
I mean, Surefour's poking around in there and he's just shooting at tanks, but a lot of that is just valuable scouting information of where is this team, who's up front, should I send the tire, and now they do just that, being very aggressive. Zumba's got to be careful. They will go after this. Surefour, the late kill on the Gambler is nice as well. Los Angeles will retreat. We're nearing only 90 seconds for the Seoul Dynasty to push last Anubis.
They're pushing into 2 support ults ready to go here for the Gladiators. Big Goose and Shaz. Ults set up, it's only Jayhong. Well, Gambler is getting in there. The more poke damage that comes out here, that is one of the nice things about Junkrat, is your tank, take a few nades to the face, give your healers a bit more ult charge. So Gambler isn't too far off that Valk either.
See if Wakid wants to try to get to this right side. A lot of Junkrats go all the way deep right under the wall just so that their tire has less distance to travel. Gonna go on the right side anyway. This is generally where you can find supports. They already lost Gambler though. There goes both supports. Tire won't be enough, even if it was a money tire. You can't go in after that.
You lose Jayhong, that's it. Fleta gonna be able to dash out to safety. Another stagger kill coming through. Wakid not gonna be able to make it back to his mates, and Zumba running the risk of getting DMAX. I think he made it over the top, just barely made it there in time.
You have to full-on retreat when you lose like that. A lot of these teams will punish you if you're slow on the retreat. They'll send you all the way back. Has been a new wrinkle in Anubis too, that when you get out, you have to get all the way out, otherwise you're gonna die mid-ground.
So, let's see, any targets? Not quite. And now you're trapped, and now you're dead. Should be there for the res. It looks like Gambler should be able to bring him back, although that was definitely cutting it a bit fine.
They won't let that res come back in, absolutely trying to camp it. Gambler does have to pop Valkyrie as well to get in, but now they've lost Wakid, who's over onto the Tracer. They're trying to just get any sort of pressure in. They can zoom Yada in here and hope for a blade, but that is their best hope. Big Goose might be better off just Valking preemptively. They also have a Transcend, and Dynasty needs a miracle for this fight.
As soon as the push comes through, there we go. Valk goes in for Big Goose. Chad still holding on to his trance, doesn't need to commit it just yet, playing very patiently. Overtime is through. And it's burning down. They do have Wakid and Miro close to be able to tap that point, keep this fight going here for Seoul as Hydration is going in with the tire. 8 HP left on it. Looking for a target. He's going to do a lot of damage to Miro, but it won't be the kill. Will slow him down, and somehow Seoul Dynasty, 4, 5, 6 players all around the point, none of them touching.
That's not the first time that has happened either. Just mental mistakes have really cost Seoul some maps that they should not have lost. They had 2 in the corner pressuring down, and look at Miro. He's looking for answers down the line.
He does not look at it. He's like, yes, please explain to me.
It might be a byproduct of all the roster switching that they've done. They've just kind of throwing darts at a board and throwing a lot of different people in here, and sometimes the communication of who needs to be on the point and when breaks down.
That's a tough one. I mean, if we had just the image of the map there at the end, Miro's off in the corner. He's beating up on supports. He's nowhere near that point. He's doing his thing where he's just trying to, gang up on Big Goose and Shaz, keep him in the corner out of it.
I think Zumba sent in his self-destruct over there as well, so they were just trying to keep people off on the side, and then the remainder of the team not on the point to be able to touch it. That's just communication breakdown, but, given how everything was going, I think that there was still maybe a Transcend for the size of Gladiators that they were holding on to forever in case that blade was coming out, so even though it's a mental mistake that shouldn't happen, I don't have high hopes that they were going to get that point anyway.
Yeah, that was just the ult advantage for Los Angeles Gladiators. Big Goose with the preemptive valve was also very nice, getting that off. Good and early, keeping everybody up. Seoul Dynasty now going to be swapping sides onto the defense. Miro on the Orisa to set up that Shetland pony.
Yeah, defensively, they do like to run a Junkrat and a Widow here, which has been somewhat of the meta. And offensively, this is what Gladiators likes to run as well. They will go just full dive on it. It's what Hydration brings with his Genji. And of course, Short 4 will be able to flex off on nearly everything. You know, they've just got so much flexibility through their DPS that they can run most anything. I think we're going to see a lot of Short 4 today, given the map pool.
That's a possibility. It's also a good, one of the potential solutions to deal with this Widow. You get that Genji in there, hydration, you know, you dive in with your tanks and just try to annihilate her quick. See if they can make it work. Los Angeles Gladiators, time is ticking.
Well, dive is also one of the best ways to deal with this Orisa, which seems like it'd be, you know, not the correct answer. But if you can get in there with the D.Va and make sure that not everyone is eating so much Junkrat damage, you get one of these early kills, you're in a decent spot. Fled is already going to have to go back here. He's going to make sure no one gets the flank on him, but we can see no one's really trying to flank. Short 4 is going up there now, but I think Fleda might have seen him.
Zumba also saw him, so they are aware of where Short 4 is playing from. He's already been challenged how to use his recall to get out of a tight spot. Fleda, however, on the low ground, and oh! The reflex coming in from Hydration, the headshot, Fleda dead.
Absolutely huge, and he died in this spot. There's almost no way you can resurrect this
Yeah.
either. Not with this fracas going on either, and now the Gladiators simply cleaning up. One kill from Jaehong comes about, but it's not gonna be enough as Hydration cutting him apart.
Just whipping right through him. A piece of hot wire through cheese. Tasty, but brutal.
You seem like the type of guy who'd cut his cheese with a wire. You have a specific cheese wire, don't you?
There is that. There's also Macbeth, which is just the best thing on the planet. All right, enough about cheese hacks. Nobody's running a
It's
cheese
never enough
strat
about,
here.
hey, as someone born and bred in Wisconsin, there's never enough about cheese. Offensively, 6:44 on the clock, and they're getting close to a Valk, and they've got Blade. Bomb is up as well. This is snowball potential. Miro had to switch as well. I mean, it's what Monty mentioned as well on Anubis, that the first Anubis push is always going to be difficult for the defense because your first hold doesn't transition into your second hold.
You have to reset. So we'll see how quickly Miro can work up towards that primal range. Sure, wow. This decides to go in there. Out for blood, finds the one. Hydration looking to get something out of this Blade, but he's left hanging. Finally, Dash comes off a cooldown, and he's just going for the DMAC best he can. And yes, Zumba does get DMAC. That's a lot of HP lost for Seoul Dynasty. Jaehong gets overwhelmed as well by Sure4, and this is looking great for Los Angeles Gladiators. Can Key deliver a monster tire? And he finds the key target. Big Goose out of it.
Oh, that's pretty big, but Gambler comes in. Gambler just popped Valk, and Short 4 took him out of the sky. Fleta also falls. Short 4 coming alive on his Tracer.
Well, what can you hope to do here if you're Zumba? You're gonna get DMAX, forced into the corner, and well, denied. Unbelievable, how does that happen?
It's buying so much time, too, and now Shaz and Fisher die fighting on the point, and what looked like a very good push, or potential push for the Gladiators, will be deflected. Also, just a second to blame the desk for cursing Gambler, talking about how he's a much better Mercy, and he's died with Valk twice so far already on our first map.
I don't know, I'm left at a kind of a loss there as to how Zumba survives. That's a bit of a Scooby moment. Yeah, it's like, how did he get back in that mech when he had 5 HP?
It's so important that Soul was able to hold on for that first push. It lets them try to get back even in economy, but Fleta's gonna have Blade. Hydration will have it as well. That could very well decide. Over the wall, he goes for it, and he gets Makita
Again, and there's the follow-up. Hydration finds Gambler. Awkward spot here for Sure4. Doesn't look like he's gonna get hurt too badly though. And Zumba this time, no remake for him. It's Fleta trying to be the hero here with the blade of his own. Not quite finding the targets just yet, although he does decapitate Fisher. Looking for the DMAC as well. And Los Angeles Gladiators yet again, despite a strong start in the push, they're not able to secure the point.
At 9 HP at a certain point was Fleta with that blade, and Wakid will come back on the Tracer. It'd be interesting to see if he's staying on this or this was a panic move to come back, although he's been abused thus far on the Junkrat. Short4 says, you like throwing explosives over walls? I got something for you. And now Wakid switches to Widow for a moment, now over to the Junkrat.
And we get the change as well here on the Los Angeles Gladiators side. Hydration deciding that's enough of the Genji. He's going to get on the Sombra. Interesting. Gonna have to try and bank on getting that EMP as quick as possible. DMAC on Zumba, or rather the hack on Zumba would be pretty nice.
They force out Transcend by jumping in the corner with Fissure, and now the Transcend out from Shaz as well.
A lot of bolts getting thrown into this, and well, that is not where you want to be, Gambler, between a rock and a hard place. That's for sure. Insta-dead, but they do manage to find hydration as well. Miro working well. And that will mean Los Angeles Gladiators getting reset yet again.
A little bit interesting that Hydration is the one on the Sombra, although all the DPS from the Gladiators do share a similar pool, and they will flip up on different Sombra. Sometimes Silkthroat has played it before as well. Short4 had been their go-to Sombra for a while. He's having a very good game on Tracer, so I expect that. Also, if they want a Tracer, that Short4 would be the better Tracer than Hydration. However, if we see a Doomfist at some point, Hydration's your boy.
Yeah, buddy. Please, just bring the fist. Let's see you pound some faces. All right, well, Hydration just waiting. It's the longest wait of his life for that health pack. He'll get it eventually, and then he just gets nuked down again. Eats a grenade, point blank, and in the meantime, Fleta feeding his blade to Shaz. It is not looking pretty here once again for the Gladiators. They get completely torn to bits.
As it reminded me of our previous set, just Dragon Blade kills all over the place. Hydration will fall, but he will have EMP for the next fight. And you cannot overestimate how important that pack control under the bridge is. Fleta has been going there very often during his blades. When they do lose supports, they've been clutching on getting that pack below the bridge. It's very important for the defense to be able to control it, and now Hydration's taking it away.
It feels like the fights were a bit more drawn out when it was Seoul Dynasty on the offense. Numbers kind of reflect that as well. Just a whole lot more kills for the Gladiators, and yet it's Seoul Dynasty that are holding. Gladiators are just resetting very often. All right, now we got the EMP. Did he manage to get the targets he was looking for? D-Mech on Zumba, that's nice, but he doesn't get the key one. That is going to be the trance.
I don't think he got either supports there. They were both in very good position, hiding behind walls, and this is going way too long. Fleta, yet again, has been so clutch for this team. Hydration will get out. Miro falls. Now we're only 2 minutes left to go. They only need 73%.
Yeah, there we go. It is that. Just get the trance out. Jaehong careful to top everybody up. Point blank, boot to the face for Short4. Ever pleasant, especially for Tracer. Well, Short4, he's got that pulse, so he'll have to deliver again. He's been very good at getting those pulse bomb kills on Wakid at least.
Hydration's on the Doomfist.
Hey.
The
There
prophecy,
we go.
The prophecy has been fulfilled. We've seen him run it on Nepal, on Shrine specifically. Not necessarily what you always see here on Anubis, but looking for those one-shot kills, trying to get in here. 90 seconds to go.
Nobody saw that. Nobody saw that Hydration. I know you're going through the style points there, the clever angle.
He just really, really hates trees.
How does he not plow through that tree? That's the question, really, that we need to be asking here. The big questions. All right, we got both ults in play, but again, Fleta patient, waits out the trance, and then Wakid! Between Wakid and Fleta, half the team for Gladiators are dead. Hydration as well. And yet another reset with a minute left on the clock here for the Gladiators.
Had the Gladiators gone into that and not used ult, it would have been a good fight for them, but the tire comes out, the blade is out, and the DPS for the Seoul Dynasty have been clutching kills all the way through this defense. Of course, they can't do it without everyone else on their team. Now we've got a Transcendence coming in. Hydration gonna be looking to send that Omnic through a wall before it gets popped, but I mean, with a reaction time of a Jaehong, it's gonna be difficult to do.
Let's go. On to the point we go. Fist leading the way. Hydration playing the angles, waiting for it to come off a cooldown. Now he's going to be able to get the opportunity here, perhaps to smash somebody into a pillar. Gonna miss the shot, though. And well, he's got to keep an eye on Fleta. Sure, keep the pressure on that guy because he keeps hacking your back line to bits.
Oh, this is good, too. Not like he's going for this Diva now, but he should be focusing on the right corner. It's where all the reinforcements will come from, and that Transcend will come in. Meteor Strike trying to wait it out.
Let's go! Meteor Strike trying to find a target, and he misses completely. Too good at dodging it. Seoul Dynasty. Fleta's back alive. Zumba gets overwhelmed, but that's fine because the tanks are still here for Seoul Dynasty. They've got Miro who can get into this fight and continue to buy some time.
Figures down is really painful for them. They are trading out back and forth, though. You have to imagine Vigor's going to go on to Lucio to try to get back to this point. They just need stall. Fleta looking to close it out.
Open to, but he's getting batted around right now. That's not too pleasant for him. They do manage to pin Fisher in the corner. Now it's a matter of just finding these kills, and sure enough, there it is. Fleta finally takes Fisher's head. Wakid with yet another tire that gets value, and they are going to hold Seoul Dynasty. Not allowing the Gladiators to lock shields and press forward to tie it up. Instead, they will take this first map 2-1.
Well, as much as they've struggled on the offense, their defense was stellar there, having both of the DPS come alive at critical moments. And beyond that, they were getting ultimates so quickly. Yes, Riptire charges fast, but that blade came up quickly as well, always crushing through there. And even though Hydration's Doomfist wasn't enough, we might see a little bit more later.
The Overwatch League is brought to you by Intel, the official computer processor of the Overwatch League. T-Mobile, America's best unlimited network. And by Omen by HP, the official PC and display of the Overwatch League.
We still have Toby in the fight. Another Transcendence from Jayhawk.
And Gladiators, this is the fight they wanted.
That's perfect timing from Zunba. It couldn't have been any more perfect.
Wow, and this is why you bring hydration in.
All right, welcome back, everybody. That Bishu clip right there, somebody needs to clip that, put it on Twitter, because that is definitely like feels good. Like, ha ha, just use it for everything. Oh yeah, we won. Ha. I don't know. I love it. All right, welcome back, everybody. We're into the second map now. Seoul, they're up 1-0 in this series.
Yeah. And we are going over to Blizzard World, so Munchkin will come in for Fleta. Of course, Fleta has been their Widow Ace. I mean, Fleta's a jack of all trades, can play absolutely everything. I think Munchkin's probably coming in to play a little bit of that Tracer. She's good on every map, and people are still figuring out Blizzard World. We see a lot of Tracer Sombra coming in on this. I think that's exactly what the Gladiators will play. Maybe they've got a Sombra mix of their own for Seoul coming into this, but we'll see. So far, both teams undefeated on Blizzard World. 1-0 and 2-0 respectively.
There we go. Yeah, exactly. So we got one of them a little bit more experience, but it is still the case that this is a very early map. Not a whole lot of play time on it. Teams still trying to figure it out, and more importantly, teams can still pull fast ones on each other because you are still lacking some information. And so there is opportunity for the seat. Always a good time for us because, hell, that's just entertaining.
Yeah, Junkrat Widow is probably going to be the stage of the day for the Gladiators, especially on defense. On offense, they'd like to try to get a Sombra in there, but Hydration has been playing a lot of these projectile heroes. Short4 has been staying mostly on the hit scan. On the other end of things, we'll see how they actually want to run this offense. I don't think this is the final form of Soul just yet, but let's enjoy the beautiful Blizzard world. I don't get all these references because I never played World of Warcraft. I know my nerd cred just dropped like 400 points, but...
Well, no, but then that's how you had time to watch all those movies and do all those other things with your life hacks.
That is
me, however. Totally didn't drop out of college because of World of Warcraft. Moving on. So.
You know what? It got you here. That's all that matters. Every single choice he made came here. Oh, I didn't even see that Overlord before. I did, like, in my own credit, I watched, like, thousands of hours of StarCraft. So, like, that was my jam.
StarCraft was definitely everybody's jam. I mean, that's what pretty much revitalized esports. Blizzard can give themselves a pat on the back there, although it was just on TV and Twitch. But you just happened to put out a great RTS game at the time.
Hey, GSL still going strong. GSL Super just happened as well, so catch up on those VODs.
They're running it right here, man.
I know.
In Los Angeles, we have the StarCraft 2 team that are over here right now running the tournament, WCS, I think. So,
it's sick.
Super sick. Love to see the StarCraft is still chugging along.
Okay, offensively, they are running something kind of interesting. This Wakid is going to be on the Widow, Munchkin on the Tracer, a little bit odd. We'll see if they brought in Wakid is going to run something different on the defense. You have to imagine he'll be going back to projectile. Anyway, we'll see how they try to crack this as both teams run similar comps. It's how do you deal with Hydration, who's going to be pumping out so much damage. This map's still a mystery on how teams want to approach it. A slow roll with McCree sometimes work, trying to take this high ground, but already Munchkin falls.
Their Hydration has just been so good with connecting those grenades. It's just spam, but in his case, man.
Told you, man, it's not spam.
Precision.
Tactical area denial.
There you go. And he's precise with his tactical area denial. He's a beast.
They're going to have to fall back here. Now, it's interesting to see where the offensive Widow tries to take this. Defensive Widow has been a very good flavor here because there's that high ground on the left-hand side from your screen hand left, and then you can get all the way back in the mid and just peek behind walls as well. He is just dancing around so he doesn't take any more damage, but took a couple of body shots early.
Oh, there it is. Eventually, Short4 was going to find the angle. Gambler this time will survive rezzing one of his teammates. That's always a plus.
Yeah, Short4 is going to take down Jaehong, though. It was a really cool little move by Bishu to like kind of scare them, put the fear of God in them as he did a U-turn Diva, trying to force out some fear from that resurrection. Munchkin does get in. Fissure a little too big for his britches, and now Fissure's a little out of nowhere as well.
They're kind of split up all over the place at this point. Miro is trying to play catch-up here. They're all over the place. Munchkin in the back line, though, so that could be something that pays off in the end. Azumba does get caught. Short4 there. However, this is where you really get to see those Widow-style points come into play. Even going for the bold move.
Able to take that one down as well, and is back to the drawing board for the Soul Dynasty. They're trying to get up to some ultimates. They will have Valkyrie. Perhaps Gambler can live through a Valkyrie for once. It's been a rough go for it so far. Short4 shut him down on several different heroes. Wakid is going to go over to the Genji. So a Genji Tracer here running some full dive into this mix. So if someone has to go back and deal with Short4, that's going to have to be Wakid's job.
Yeah, look, he's so far back right now. Might be looking around for Munchkin, fair enough, but he is trying to keep on top of things as Big Goose decides to get the wings out. Munchkin is going to be spotting out Shaz, and Shaz, no, it's Short4 who eventually finds that kill. Definitely looked like some teamwork there between Los Angeles Gladiators. Quick communication, allowing them to shut down that flanking Tracer, and well, Soul Dynasty still trying to figure out how to get onto this point intact.
They were able to get the Junkrat who was channeling the tire, but it was rezzed up because he was in such a position that's such an easy res right there. Jazz falling early on does hurt though. Jaehong is going to have to transcend to get rid, make sure he lives through a self-destruct, and it does seem like maybe finally Soul's cracked this one.
Yeah, a bit of the BM there from Jaehong. Hey, Gladiators, don't you wish you had your Transcendence right now? Wait, he's dead. That's a painful kill there for Shaz. With that Trance, that might have been able to turn it around for them instead. It will be the first point getting picked up here by Soul Dynasty. and the payload now will start chugging along through the pylon terrace.
And because Wiki made that switch a little bit early, he's going to have Blade for this, and a lot of teams have preferred switching into a Genji on this second point. There's so much verticality and high ground that you're going to have to be able to contest, that the Genji is the perfect guy to go with your Winston up top and try to see what you have. But right now, there's going to take the free push. At a certain point, though, all of LA is up top. You're going to have to get them off of that high ground.
Yeah, somehow. Please. Junkrat, please. Stop raining in nades. Never mind. Wiki gets obliterated.
You think you just ask him nicely and he stops?
It'll just stop. You can always try. I guess that's what happens, though, you know. Just go and kill him now. I guess that's going to be the game plan here for Seoul Dynasty. They're going to hope that they're going to be able to pull it off at least. Surefour taking the fight to him as well. He's nearly got his pulse bomb. Hot on Munchkin's heels, keeping tabs on him, and he oversteps his bounds. Miro, Wakid, and Munchkin, all three of them collapse on Surefour. Get rid of that guy.
Hydration gonna stall out this tire here, but he has to use it immediately just so he does not die to Zuma, but that is not gonna be the case as Munchkin connects his pulse bomb as well. A couple of trades. Gladiator still contesting this point. We have Primal Rage, and now they're bringing Hydration back to life. Hydration has gotten rezzed as many times as he's died.
He doesn't, yeah, exactly. He just keeps coming back, and he's a high priority target for Big Goose, and he keeps dying in spots that can be brought back. At least then he has that going for him.
Yeah, well, 3 deaths for Hydration, 3 resurrections for Big Goose. He definitely is the priority here, that they just want to keep him alive. And I mean, that's the one great thing about Riptire is that you could use it from anywhere, and your Mercy's going to know, so you can always use it in a safe spot. If you die in an unresable spot as with Riptire, that's your own fault.
Whoa. Missed opportunity here for Surefour. Gotta be careful, doesn't want to overstay his welcome, and there's the trance forced out. Eventually, the pressure was too great, even for Jaehong to withstand. In the meantime, his teammates making hashish out of Fisher.
Well, it was great play from Bijou to go in with Surefour too, because Surefour is probably dead to rights if he doesn't get to live in the Matrix there for a few seconds as well and get out of that situation. Still some push happening as Surefour tries to engage in a Tracer battle up top with Munchkin. Now the Valk is done for Gambler. All that healing off the board.
No longer going to be there to keep his mates up, but Jaehong, hey, you know, if you kill him, it works just as well. All the Surefour. D-Matrix is there to remove his pulse bomb. No joy for him.
That's an ambitious pulse bomb right there, right in the face of a diva. If you stick it from behind, you're all good. But now Keith's got the blade out. Both supports down from the Gladiators.
Oh, even denies the tire. Icing on the cake. And they will be able to pick up this second payload. The point just in the nick of time. It was looking like the tanks could get on there. Perhaps Fisher and Bishu, they did go for the dive, but now they're going to go ahead and get, well, sent back to spawn in bits.
Just a second too late. Some more free push now coming out as we do finally enter the third point of Blizzard World. See if any compositional switches come out here. This is still another good Widow point. There's a lot of weird angles that people still aren't really privy to. They're not expecting at all times, but it seems like both teams sticking on what got them here.
Sticking to their guns, perhaps what they've scripted as well. Yet again, Hydration finding the opening kill in this fight. Now Gambler has to make a tough decision. Not going to be able to get that res back, just period, by the looks of it, as he loses his teammate. Now Miro is gone. Wiki looking to back out of this hot potato, but it's not going to happen. Fisher is there to counter him.
Some good pressure there. Hydration nearing another tire, and the Gladiators have both support ultimates just about up. Wakid staying on that Genji. They continue to run full dive. Just this seems like such a small point that is finding that optimal target, the optimal angle to really engage in the dive situation. Especially when you're going against a Junkrat, it can be very hard to find the right target.
Constantly hunting for these flank angles right now. It will be Surefour, point blank. Still has the pulse though, still looking for targets. He is going to be able to spot out his counterpart, Tracer, on Munchkin. And well, now it's going to be about who can you actually get the stick on. He just decides to chuck it in, and well, that's going to pay dividends. Wakid is gone.
Then they get him out of mech as well. A huge pulse bomb there is going to slow Soul down. Gambler had Valk during that last fight. No longer is the case, but they will have Primal. They did bank a bunch of ults going into this. It's just a matter of if Gladiators can respond quickly enough with a Transcend. There's also a tire that can end this. Last push for Soul.
Yep, can they make it happen? Yeah. Hydration once again with the tire. That's not pleasant. Sneaks it across. 3 seconds left. 2 seconds and the pre-fire denied. Zumba on top of it.
This game is so meta about tires right now. The tire lived in the Matrix for a little bit too, just trying to keep it alive. They're gonna get Wakid back into this fight. It's time to go with a blade and get onto the cart. Soul!
Look at Miro's face. Oh, this is such a fantastic shot. What? That is what it's all about right there. The reaction. Miro's face says it all.
I got nothing.
What can you say? That's the second time it's happened too. No wonder Miro's pissed. Anubis, it was the exact same thing. All 6 players for Soul alive. Nobody on the point. Overtime burns down. Same thing here.
Literally scratching his head, trying to figure this out. Again, I guess the only thing you can think of is because they have mixed up the roster so much that they don't have that premier order of operations that maybe London and especially New York has. New York has a plan. They probably have a poster on the wall of like this, you're in first, you're in second, you're in third. And if someone messes that up, they know exactly who was supposed to be on the cart and when. Soul, I don't know, write it down, get something, because that's
why we have post-it notes sticking to the side of the monitor.
Exactly. I don't know if they're allowed post-it notes, actually. I'd have to read the rule book, but that is not ideal.
Well, Post-it haven't paid for the sponsorship, so.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, how dare you? Don't you mean generic brand paper adhesives?
Yeah, exactly. Paper squares that stick to things.
Adhesive paper squares. Not quite a sponsor yet. But hey, you know what? Last time it didn't cost Soul the map anyway on Anubis.
Yeah,
so
fair.
look, they still had a very good push as far as Blizzard World standards go. Getting it to third is like just also a miracle. Most pushes have been dying at second, at least some of the maps we've seen anyway. And there's been a few completions so far on Blizzard World, but hey, Soul's not 2-0 on Blizzard World for nothing, Semler.
I know that you can't give up hope, especially if you're a Soul fan, considering the performance we saw on defense.
Yeah, you
on
gotta-
Anubis. These guys on defense.
You have to forget about that. It just does not matter. You got to come out with another stellar defense. Los Angeles Gladiators will run Hydration on the Sombra. Their offense has been Sombra Tracer on Blizzard World. Trying to get to the back lines there, and Hydration can be so good at that, at least pressuring the back line and forced to open up some space so that you can at least pick a side. I mean, Blizzard World's so hard because even getting to one of these corners where you can even think about pushing is difficult.
Well, now they are making progress. Hydration with the sneaky beaky hack on Gambler. Gambler can still heal, though. But he will fall to Surefour. Surefour there to pick up on it. That's going to cost him his life. However, Munchkin will be there to snuff him. Maybe getting a little ahead of themselves here, the Gladiators.
Yeah, but that's a trade that you'll make. You'll trade your Tracer for a Mercy every day of the week, twice on Sundays, and now they're just going to put a little pressure on the point while the rest of the team is stuck in a hallway. Hong, a little bit low, was rotating around back. They want to wait for Gambler to get back into this before they re-engage, and now Gambler's back.
Yeah, nice play there by Miro. Goes back, allows Gambler to fly over to him.
Zumba!
Get back into this fight a little bit faster. Zumba with the pack. Yeah.
Gambler with the heals right there, also on the edge, and Munchkin punishes Fisher for trying to chase down Baby Diva. That's having your team's back.
Stay on that point, though. Need to keep that presence. Hydration in the rafters. Does manage to get that pack back, however, and Wakid has now got his Riptire, finds a perfect spot to go ahead and start launching it onto the point. Hey, D-Mac, you wanted a Mac Bishu? He gets that Mech too! Shaz with the trance, keeps Bishu in the fight. That was clutch. So close, and now Los Angeles Gladiators with the kill on Gambler again. They're in a great spot here to pick up the first point, and they will.
Yeah, they've just been abusing the back line there, and it's the tanks going in and getting all of that burst damage overall, and then always the follow-up there to get that very early big damage on it. The comms are just on point for the Gladiators. It's one thing to call Mercy low, it's another thing to have someone come in and absolutely execute that Mercy, and so far Gambler has been the #1 target for this team. They've gone after him several times. He does have Valkyrie up now, though.
Question on what he's going to decide to get it in there.
I mean, EMP is ready as well, and we're going to have to see where this angle comes from. Hydration's got it. He's just chasing about. I mean, really no need to use it. You're not pressured. And now with Surefour down, I think you just take as much as you can get. You try to get him resurrected back into this. They will get that res. Hydration's waiting for a clump of players, but they're not really grouped up. Trapped! Still gets Jayhog!
Still gets Jayhog. Unbelievable. That is some God-tier aim right there. Stays on top of it, and that payload making progress around the corner. They do get the res off on Jayhog. Wakid has been monster with the tires, and there you go. Big kill onto Fisher, but he gets traded immediately. Surefour there to get the punish.
Well, Gambler's got Valkyrie out, so they should be able to hold onto this for now, but Munchkin finds himself all alone as the Valkyrie's keeping everyone above him alive. Someone had to pressure the cart, and it came down to him.
And they're just getting split up all over the place right now, Soul Dynasty, not able to stay alive long. If Valk is up, great, but you need to stick together to get that chain heal effect, and now, well, it's worn off, Gambler. Back to Vanilla Mercy.
I think it's just a product of the map that we're seeing teams just a little bit more split apart, not knowing the angles that they want to take to get in. Shaz will solo-handedly take down the D.Va, but brought back to life.
Oh, not quite gonna find it, Surefour, unfortunately. Looking for the D-Mech, not gonna happen. We got the trance thrown out there by Shaz and Jaehong as well, both of them. The Zenyatta's there with the AoE healing. Surefour dropping dangerously low, but you need to stay on this payload right now if you're Gladiators. That is the focus. They're losing players, though. Hydration will take down Wakid, tries to stop the bleeding. Might not be enough, though. Especially if you can get the res off on Bishu. That could be another tank back in this fight.
Yeah, well, Fissure jumped back even during Primal Rage to try to be a big body to block that, to make sure that they could get it. Munchkin's gonna hit the stick, but it's not enough to actually confirm the kill onto the D.Va. Now, Big Goose pops Valkyrie. It's very low very quickly.
That was a bit of a scary Valk there. But you regen so quickly when you've got Valk. Mercy so difficult to kill without the burst damage. Just cut through it, and here we go. The EMP straight in. Jaehong instantly obliterated. Wakid is there to trade it, though. And no Gambler. Yet again, Gambler falls.
That was an enormous EMP. It caught almost everybody. Yes, he gave his life for it, but you're absolutely fine with it. And now it's just desperation. It's only Munchkin on the point. Wakid was back in no man's land. They will get bullied out. Second point taken for the Gladiators. And they've got 3.5 minutes to continue this push. 53 meters.
I'm loving the aggression here from Gladiators as well. Just pick them off as they spawn. Some free kills. Gambler, Jaehong gone. Zumba will be able to make it back over to his teammates. That payload right now is making so much progress so quickly.
I mean, the Sombra makes you not want to group up, but then they're just getting picked apart when they're just too far away from each other at certain points of time, and Hydration just constantly kept the pressure on the team. Look, he's in the back line again, trying to deal with these supports. The supports get very low. Jaehong down.
Jaehong down yet again. Jaehong has not had a good time of it. Nobody's here to challenge the point. Yeah, Zumba makes it in just in time. Munchkin going to get ejected, however, and if Fissure stays on it, they will win. Munchkin not able to touch it. Los Angeles Gladiators will tie up the series 1-1, taking home Blizzard World.
Ruining Soul's undefeated Blizzard World at 2-0, but just too many deaths from both Wakid and Gambler there. Wakid died 12 times, nearly twice as much as any other player. Munchkin also fell way too often, so Gambler's doing his best to keep them alive, but they're dying in odd positions. He's going to have to overextend with them, and they've just been caught out by the aggressive tanks of the Gladiators.
Staying on top of it, exactly. Gladiators fans. Well, I was about to say they rejoice.
The Overwatch League is brought to you by Omen by HP, the official PC and display of the Overwatch League. Intel, the official computer processor of the Overwatch League. And by T-Mobile, America's best unlimited network.
The Seoul Dynasty struck first with a win on Anubis, but it's the Gladiators bouncing back on Blizzard World to tie this series up at 1 apiece. Welcome back, everybody. It's Puggy here on the desk. You know this guy. His name's Sideshow. That guy over there, not as famous. It's Reinforced. Get to know him.
I have more followers on Twitter than this guy. Come on, man.
Twitter followers are not everything, you know. And they're only from when you were a player. Did you know that? Johnny used to be a top player? It was a long time ago.
That's why we brought him in here. All right, Johnny, as a former player, I would love your breakdown of what we saw in that first map. We went to Anubis. Point B, not so easy for either of the teams.
For neither of the teams, actually. And Fleta, he popped up with the Dragon Blades. Overall, we've had amazing Temple of Anubis games today. I've really enjoyed watching it. And so, whatever really the Gladiators tossed at Seoul Dynasty, Fleta just kept shutting down the back line. And it felt like Big Goose and Chaz were left alone a bit.
Now, Seoul Dynasty didn't have the best performance when they were on attack either. They had a long time trying to break that point A hold by the LA Gladiators. You saw they got it there with pretty much only 30 seconds on the clock. Whereas LA Gladiators, when they were on offense, just wiped Seoul away on point A. Point A was not an issue for them. But when it came to B, they couldn't get past Wikid on the Junkrat. They couldn't get past these Dragon Blades. Seoul, in general, have really good ultimate economy. They get the best value out of all of their ults when they're on defense.
Yeah, sometimes they couldn't even get past the palm trees.
Yes, sometimes they couldn't get past the palm trees. And I'm sure if you were watching, you will have seen this replay of Hydration on Doomfist just trying to knock coconuts out a tree or something.
Yeah.
So it did look pretty dumb, but I think it was part of a structured play. So I'm going to try and break it down for you and see why he just decided to punch.
It's the Coco strat.
It was the coconut strat. So here's Hydration from his point of view, and this is where he goes to set up. He deliberately takes this high ground here and then just punches a tree.
Oh!
And falls to the ground.
That's like Brent skiing. I like it.
But if we look at the mini-map here, there's a couple of important things to note. And I'm pretty sure that what he's aiming for is if he goes above this tree and then carries on his combo, he'll be able to go all the way to the back here where Jaehong and Gambler are, and that is synced up at the same time as Fish is going to dive in here just as he gets his Primal Rage, and then the back line of Shaz and Big Goose are going to follow through and execute on this dive as well. So that's the game plan from them. But when Hydration hits this tree at the bottom left, boom, he hits the tree. But
Sorry, Fisher.
But Fisher's already committed to this one. He has to go in. And so Big Goose, Shaz, these guys are all committed as well. Fisher pops off his Primal Rage, and now there is just this big mess in the bottom corner that Hydration can't really help with properly. And these are the kind of things that weren't quite working out. It looked like a set play that was designed to catch the supports of Seoul Dynasty at the back, but now it's a disaster. Shaz has to invest his Transcendence. They don't even get the Doomfist into the back corner. It all fell apart. And I like it. It's a cool set play, but it didn't work. The palm tree is slightly bigger.
How often do you feel that we're watching these games and these teams are executing set plays like this one from the Gladiators?
I would say it's not every single time because the landscape of what ultimates the enemy team has up changes quite significantly. So you can't run that set play if there's, well, you can run that set play in a range of situations, but you couldn't run many set plays depending on if there's a Transcendence on the other side or a Riptire. So you have to change what your strategy is on the fly.
In general, I would say that whenever you try to take the high ground, that's when you try to set up a play because there's a positional disadvantage. So whenever you try to take the high ground at maps like Gibraltar or Hanamura, that's when I say that usually players try to set a dive up. But just when it comes to the general maps, not really. You don't really set up plays. You try to pressure the enemy and try to get picks.
So Seoul's push on Anubis was good enough to get them the win there. Let's take it over to Blizzard World, and as I swallow this frog in my throat, Sideshow, walk us through the early moments.
Yeah, the Seoul Dynasty had a weird change here as well. We were discussing Fleta's performance in the pre-game, saying that he's a superstar for this team, potential league MVP, and then they sub him out and they're running with Wikid and Munchkin, and I can't really figure out why, because every hero that Wikid can play, Fleta can also play it.
I mean, how good of a Junkrat can you have to be able to sub out Fleta?
Yeah.
You can't really justify it, so I feel like watching Wikid try to take this Widow versus Widow battle with Surefour, it's too risky. Why do you bother, in my opinion?
It's very puzzling, I think, and going forwards, we'll have to see if that's a trend, because the LA Gladiant took advantage of it, and there were multiple moments where I'm really struggling with Seoul, because they play so slow. It takes them so long to get into position. They get a couple of picks, but they're never the aggressive team spawn camping, really punishing their opponent's mistakes. They're just like slow plodding tortoises that slowly grind out the win.
Tor what?
Tortoises? Tortoises?
Tortoises.
Tortoises?
I like that.
Like a porpoise.
All right, and Johnny, are we gonna have a what later?
Don't know.
A chat.
We're gonna have a chat on
We're
the deck.
teaching Johnny CHs. It's
Thank
been
you.
fun here. All
Thank
right,
you.
guys. Let's wrap up this halftime with your overall opinion. Who is the stronger team right now? Who walks away with the W?
I'm going to still stick to my guns and go with the Seoul Dynasty. I think they're going to be able to take it over the course of the rest of the 4-match series that we have. But the LA Gladiators are making it close, and I think it's more like Seoul have to just not lose rather than actually win.
Yeah, well, going into Nepal and Junkertown, I think there's 2 maps that favor the Seoul Dynasty, actually. But, you know, it's quite honorable sticking with my pick, so I'm not going to flip-flop like Bren. I actually have some honor in my pick, so I'm going to stick with the Gladiators, despite the fact that Seoul Dynasty arguably are the favorites moving forward.
All right, I like the picks here, guys. We'll see how this one all plays out. It's the final match of the night. That's going to do it for halftime coverage, but we want to remind everybody, later today, we got our Shanghai Dragons sighting. It's going down right here in the Blizzard Arena. And Sideshow here got in on the Mayhem signing last night.
Yeah.
Pretty impressive stuff here.
There was quite a lot of creativity on my signings.
Do you have a favorite autograph?
A couple of, I got a little Pachimari drawn. The drawings are always better than the other stuff. Look at my beautiful face.
You
I
look so happy to have strangers touching your arm. All right, guys, now there's still space left on Sideshow's arm. So if you come out tomorrow to the Blizzard Arena, not only will you get some autographs from the London Spitfire, but you can also draw anywhere on Sideshow's face. That's going to do it for our halftime coverage. When we come back, we got a big Game 3. You don't want to miss it.
The Overwatch League is brought to you by Sour Patch Kids. Sour, sweet, gone.
Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. Our last match of the night has been a good one as the LA Gladiators and the Seoul Dynasty are all tied up 1-1. The LA Gladiators looking to take down the Dynasty for the first time of the regular season for all that is good in purple. Speaking of purple, tomorrow is Twitch Day to celebrate our All Access Pass. And one of the perks of the All Access Pass is exclusive AMAs with the players when the games are all complete. And tonight, we have a good player for our AMA. Hydration from the LA Gladiators will be doing the AMA. So for all you guys who've been wanting to ask him questions like how it is playing with Fisher or how he's so good on Doomfist, tonight is the night where you can ask your question. Speaking of which, I got somebody really cool with me here. Man, if you had a chance to ask Hydration any question, what would it be?
See, I care about my boy Hydration there. You know, I don't want him to get no cramps or nothing like that. You know, I really care about him. I just want to know for sure, what name brand of water do you drink?
Okay, that's a good question. I have a feeling that he's probably a Fiji guy, if I had to take a guess. You know, all of a sudden, I'm really thirsty. So I'm gonna go ahead and get myself some water, and we're gonna go ahead and get back into the game with our casters, Similar and Hex.
Thank you, Malik. I never get the timing down right. But, you know, yeah, no, in Los Angeles, you know, that's a risk that you run on the day-to-day, getting thirsty.
Yeah, tap water is less than ideal. What name brand does Hydration drink? I don't know. Hit him up with those sponsorships. I'm sure he will drink any single one of those. Yeah, I mean, like, I just hope dude plans on recycling. You know, we have enough plastic in our oceans. Let's not kill any turtles.
Please.
Please.
Or the dolphins, or the whales, or all the other. I mean, we can just go down the list. There's a lot of things in the ocean. Let's just not kill them all, please. Get on that.
I could do without cuttlefish.
What about, like, squids?
Nice.
Squids are just scary.
Same family, I suppose. I mean, squids are just delicious, so let's keep them around as well. We are headed into Nepal here. We could see a lot of different compositions. Now, Seoul has run like double projectile on certain stages, especially on, I believe it was Village here, but we're on Shrine. And what Shrine has me hoping for is a little bit of Doomfist from Hydration. Staying hydrated, of course. He's run it here before. It's such a good stage for a Doomfist, if there is one just yet, because when the fighting happens, there's a lot of walls. There's that Shrine, aptly, right in the middle of the map to smash people into. And we'll see what they want to run. It's no surprise that it's going to be Hydration and Short4 on the DPS for the Gladiators. That is the DPS duo they like to run on Nepal. Now on the Seoul side of things, we do have Wakid onto the Pharah. Munchkin stays in the game as the Tracer. So it's going to be a matter, like, look, Pharah on paper is great against this composition because there's really no one who can shoot up. Maybe Shaz can get it done for him though.
Yeah, exactly. We're just going to have Shaz doing a Jonak impression in here. Just lighten Farah's up. Don't need the anti-air. I take care of it with the orbs.
He's looking for it.
He's looking for it right now. Just channel your inner Jonak. Somebody get this man a pair of glasses.
Ooh, Big Goose already down from Jae-Hong. He's the one sniping through the sky as well. And a bunch of kills come out early for the Seoul Dynasty. It might be enough to take this one over, and it is, as Bishu's just going to reset to see if they make any changes here. Hydration gonna go to the Pharah to battle the Pharah here. And they do a Big Goose on the Pharah. Now, or on the Mercy rather. Sometimes they run this without a Mercy in the sky, but I think you have to. If you're gonna run Pharah v Pharah, you have to do it with a Mercy on your side.
Just stop firing rockets at the other Pharah, and yes, put some rockets into the ground unless exactly you're point blank, and then it's much harder to miss. Down for that.
Gets him very low. Meanwhile, on the ground, Fissure has taken down his opposing tank there. The ground war continues to rage on. Munchkin already has to recall. They're going to try to get this res off, and they do successfully.
Sick focus coming in there from Munchkin with Jae-Hong's help as well. Able to drop Fissure, taking the main tank out of the fight. It's always a big one when it comes to defending on this point. You can't let it go for the flip. And they are hanging in there. Short4 trying to do the best that he can. He does get that pulse stick on a Zumba.
They force out Transcend here, and now Wakid is going to get to the fast pink light on the point. Trying to get a lot of kills here, but it's Hydration who finds one. And that is a flip back over from the Gladiators who've taken control of the point. Now it's just a matter of cleanup. Wakid is going to have to get out of here. He's discorded and in trouble. Backs out.
It's the tough call when it comes to this Pharah v Pharah battle in the sky is that your Mercies are going to be up there floating. They're not necessarily pumping heals into the rest of the team. It's coming down to that decision making on the Mercy side. Who are you prioritizing? How are you backing it up? Looks like perhaps not quite finding that comfort zone there for a moment.
Well, the question is, Seoul doesn't really have an option except to go Pharah v Pharah against this, because Fleta would be their McCree, Fleta would be their Widow. We saw Wakid struggle a little bit on that Widow earlier on Blizzard Worlds as well. So this is their best bet if the Gladiators are going to continue to run Fire Mercy. And there it is, gets the kill very early in hydration. I believe he fell off the map too, so no res.
Yeah, all the way out in the abyss. Big opening here. We will have the wings spread here by Big Goose, but Wakid will obliterate him immediately. Wakid long range, sure, Shaz is gonna trade him, but Wakid's gonna be happy with how that went down. Gambler will even be able to bring Wakid back into the fight, and Munchkin with the stick of his own onto Bishu. You've got Shaz throwing the transit, but that's questionable given how things have already gone so far against the Gladiators.
Given how that fight went, it did not seem like they were going to be able to bring that one back, and now Soul will take control and the percentage lead as well, 60% and counting to the Gladiators, 55%. It'll be a matter of Hydration can find an angle here for the barrage. So Wakid can play a little bit further back, off of the point this time.
Trading places basically. Zumba launching himself bodily in there, putting the pressure on Fisher. Needs to get back over here, just managing things. That D-Matrix, sure, if we're gonna go for a bit of the tickle fight. Here we go. It is gonna be it, but Hydration instantly deleted by Wakid, who had the high ground in that battle. Doesn't matter. It's gonna be the self-destruct cast out into nowhere.
And you see the difference between choosing the barrage. It was last time Wakid used the barrage, was after the bar was already dead. You're a sitting duck to the anti-air missiles if you do it while the other player is alive. It's exactly what happens there. So we'll continue to hold on to this point. 99%, one more fight wins the stage for him.
Oh, can he actually get this? This would be a big one, but it's looking like Big Goose is gonna hold on by a thread. If you can keep tickling him, he won't reach on HP, but it's not gonna happen. Instead, it's gonna be Fisher, the target of focus here, Munchkin. Poking around at the edges, overtime wick burning down, and Hydration gonna have to get in here to tap this point. He has to keep it alive as Wakid is gonna be there.
That's absolutely enormous. Shaz just got Transcend. He must have been mashing Q to try to get that ultimate off. If he gets Transcend, it probably keeps Big Goose alive long enough to get the Valkyrie, and maybe they swing that one back, but the Soul Dynasty win the Barbie Mercy, and it seems that spirits have risen.
We've got Mira smiling again. They're happy with that one. Everything going according to plan it feels, and it's in terms of the decision making, Wakid really pulling ahead of Hydration in that fight. And now we're gonna have a bit more of a mirror match going into it, as this is really the next point. The Murder Chasm is more about the Orisa battle.
Yeah, I think this is going to be a pure mirror match where you see a Widow and a Junkrat. Orisa and Hog have also been in vogue here. It does seem like Bishu rather wants to stick on the Diva though, so that is the one big difference here. See how this mid fight goes. Both of these teams were running a Lucio to get to the point, and then they switch over to the Mercy to try to get that speed boost early on. It's going to be the Junkrat versus the Diva, which off tank will have the bigger impact.
Yeah, that is going to be the question, because if you get those hooks in there, you can turn it around real quick, and also you can hook people into oblivion as well. Not going to happen though. That's the halt. Into the middle of nowhere for Zumba, dead. So a strong start here for Los Angeles Gladiators. However, Fisher out in the middle of nowhere. There's Munchkin. Big style play for him.
Now Munchkin's gonna take the Widow this time around, as Wakid is going to play. The Junkrat is probably his better hero of the two. You keep your hit scan on the hit scan. Good job by Soul fighting their way back into this despite the early loss of Zumba's Roadhog. Now Zumba's got Hydration in the sights down to the point, but it continues to be Munchkin untouched and just chunking in damage. Little razzle dazzle there as he goes off the edge, brings himself back into it. How do the Gladiators find a way to re-engage this?
It's twice now that he was flirting with the depths. Got halted in, but had the grappling hook off cooldown to save himself. And well, despite what looked like a promising start for the Gladiators, Fisher backing off and no real way in. So 30% left, and now you got to deal with the spam coming in from Wakid. Just grenades flying through, so much damage.
Gonna try to get in here now. This is a strong map for both teams, 6-2 and 6-1 respectively. Soul versus the Los Angeles Gladiators. Hydration gonna stall out this tire as long as possible. It does go down to Wakid.
Yeah, straight into it. And there's the hook. Right back into the fight. Bishu, you're not allowed out. Shaz, however, will be able to have that trance, so his tank will not go down. But Jae-Hong with the just low enough on the delay could make the difference here. Surefour, however, will find one with Big Goose taking down Munchkin. And so it is going to be a man advantage now for this next fight here for the Gladiators, although Surefour is still hanging around on the edges. Gambler is actually going to go look for him. Straight battle mercy. Gambler goes ahead and solo Surefour.
We've seen a lot of battle mercy today as Hydration will clean up the rest of this. Zumba's Roadhog has been absolutely shut down this map. He threw away his whole hog there towards the end, got killed immediately, and he will switch to the Diva instead, which has paid dividends for the Gladiators so far. We have another very close match here.
That was just Gambler trying to find a fun thing out of that whole disastrous situation. Whole team is dead? Whatever, I'm Battle Mercy. I'm just gonna go kill this Surefour guy real quick. I love it.
Battle Mercy can be done. That pistol does a surprising amount of damage. Can actually hit the shots. Oh, another huge kill early on. That is another tire that's gonna find its demise as well. Fissure has Supercharger here. Miro used his in the last fight, and it's one of the biggest team fight ultimates in the game. One of the biggest impacts. Everyone gets a damage boost.
It's the tough one. While Gambler's busy rezzing up Jaehong, we lose Munchkin. And Jaehong, man, he's just been having a rough time of it so far this series. Just keeps getting picked off.
Yeah, I mean, and we were talking about this during the break too, is it's both of the supports have had a rough time because it's not the synergy that Toby and Jaehong have together. They generally keep each other alive. So far, Gambler and Jaehong seem to like just be on different pages when it comes to survivability.
Oh, there's a start. Munchkin takes down Fissure. That's going to use the res. Hydration. Sneaky tire right into it. Somebody not expecting it. Can't react in time. Will get caught. So now he's demeched and just running out into the open, perhaps.
And you're seeing Junkrats prioritize anybody they can get that tire on nowadays because going for the giant tire has just simply not paid off. Hydration takes down his counterpart, but then he died in a trap as well. Still, though, the Gladiators with control of this point. There haven't been enough strong kills for Soul to re-engage. Gambler has Valkyrie for this next fight. It should stay up long enough to get Jaehong on his, but both support ults also available for the Gladiators.
Man, what a great play coming in. That bongo is just thrown down. It will get sniped, but Wakid and Jaehong caught by Bishu. Seoul Dynasty not having any time to waste, have to go charging in right into the waiting arms of the Bishu bomb, and it is going to be Los Angeles Gladiators tying it up 1-1. Off the back of just very smart ult usage there.
It's just a brilliant self-destruct. As soon as you see that Orisa shield go down, she's gonna not have to be able to reposition it. So he sees it go down on the point, sends it up over the top, catches 2 to close this one down. See, he sees the cooldown of the Orisa dropped right there, and then it comes up over the top, no repositioning, no shields, and you're dead.
And yeah, they're all just charging in. So that bongos is down as well, so that I like that use of the bongos from Fissure. Making sure that the supercharger was there to make sure, just get as much out of it as possible. Usually that's the first thing to die. Instead, they're all cranking out 50% more damage.
Yeah, it's one of the ultimates that will change a team fight greater than any other ultimate of the game is who has Supercharger up because it is the area of effect. When you're putting out that much more damage, it's so difficult to heal through, to do anything through. Got an interesting composition coming out from the Gladiators here. They're going tank heavy onto the point. Shaz onto the Moira is really the engine that makes this go. If Shaz can stay alive, it's going to be difficult to even ever kill these tanks.
Listen, guys, you're in spawn with Moiras and you're trying to find clever ways to get your orbs to bounce around infinitely. Take note of what Shaz just did. Bounce that orb off the ceiling and you've just got infinite orb healing going through. That is sick. And well, Shaz right now, look at how quickly he is charging up Coalescence. That is crazy. One fight, 83% already on his ult.
Ooh, nice hook, and max range hook, but it doesn't seem like they're gonna be able to finish this one. Will get out alive. Soul running the Pharah here. Has been run a lot on this map, but this is the perfect counter to it. You go tank heavy and you just hide under the roof. If Wakid wants to get a good angle here, he's gonna have to come right where you see the camera right now. Up over the top, you drop below this bridge and hope that you can find something for it. Soul will also switch into a tank heavier composition. Zumba on Zarya, Miro goes to Reinhardt, and now they've got a Moira of their own as well.
Wakid, you can watch him just staying up here forever. That is a whiff. The Hulk lucky break for Wakid. Not yanked into oblivion. Instead, he is going to be able to hang around, but we've got the Coalescences out. Ultimate's getting thrown in wholesale now by both teams. One team just trying to edge out the fight, but with so many beefy targets, it takes forever to find a kill. It's not until Fissure can pin Jaehong against the wall that they actually manage to pull ahead here, Gladiators.
And it's just another great use of exploiting cool max range hook. Wakid out of this fight. The moment that barrage comes in and they notice that the concussion blast has gone off to reposition the Pharah, they all rotate left side. They get out of there. This enormous shatter came off during the fight as well. But Pharah's not going to be able to really help out in that fight, not able to reposition. A beautiful rotation there by the Gladiators.
That's sick stuff. Quick thinking. Well, now we've got the change of strategy coming through. Hydration, no change there. Even at Fissure just charge again. Really? Wait, man, what happened? Does Zuma owe them money or something? That was brutal.
I just think the comms have to be so on point right now for the Gladiators. They're calling all of these individual cooldowns. You tire the Zarya because you know she's got no shield. You know you're not just going to feed into her right there, and they continue to rack up kills. I believe they just forced out a Coalescence a mile away, and he stops the Coalescence! Short 4, a man possessed!
Point of the East, and Fisher, we get it from his perspective, because guess what? He's got Earthshatter ready to go as well for this next fight. Well, Zumba's not too far from grab, so we'll see if he can get it in there fast enough here as the sound barrier gets thrown in, and it's not going to be good enough. The Gladiators will win the fight as Soul try to run the gauntlet to get on the point to tap it. Not quick enough. 2-1 on the map, 2-1 in the series now for the Gladiators. They are one map away from taking this home.
We are in for such a good set. It has been so close. The Gladiators are playing picture perfect right now. You can kind of see the comms coming through, exploiting all of these cooldowns. Soul's playing a little bit sloppy as well somewhere.
Now they're struggling right now, Soul, whether it's communication, synergy, they're gonna have to figure it out if they want to keep alive in this series.
The Overwatch League is brought to you by Omen by HP, the official PC and display of the Overwatch League. Intel, the official computer processor of the Overwatch League. And by T-Mobile, America's best unlimited network.
What's up, guys? Welcome back. This is Zoe, and at the end of halftime, I had a little chat with the nurse of Seoul Dynasty. Yeah, that's right. They actually do have a nurse on site, and I talked a little bit about Fleda because the team tweeted out that he hasn't been feeling well, so they had to pull him out after map number 1. And unfortunately, it doesn't look like he will be coming back for for the rest of the evening. There we go, that was hard. So yeah, he's not feeling well, and of course the player's health is of utmost importance, so they did practice with him going into this match, and clearly they're feeling the lack of Fleta at the moment on stage, but I'm pretty sure that the Seoul Dynasty can turn this sour moment into something sweet, so put your Sour Patch Thunder... No. See, there we go. Plugging is hard, guys. Sour Patch Kids Thunder Sticks. There we go. That was also not the easiest one I ever had. Put them together, make some noise, cheer on the Seoul Dynasty. Can they bring it back in map number 4? We'll find out in just a second. Back to you guys.
I want to start a poll that we have Zoe do every plug forevermore from here on out.
Look, she powered through it, and she really exemplified how you turn a sour moment into something sweet. It's the meta sellout, Semler. You don't even know, man. It's next level stuff.
I'm just, it's not us for saying it for once, Hex. So fair enough. There we go, Zoe. Thank you. So yeah, we're getting into it, man. Where we're gonna see if Seoul can stop C9ing and turn these sour moments into something sweet. Maybe get a W. That's going to be a big thing here because they need this map to stay alive in the series, Hex.
You can't overstate how big of a loss it is to not have Fleta into the mix, too. As the signs say, Fleta is the meta. Obviously, an early MVP candidate, has been since preseason, really. Has been crushing it right now. And on Junkertown specifically, where Widow is so important because it's an enormous map with giant sightlines, who's going to really take up that mantle and play the Widow, especially the Seoul style, which is trying to get a Bastion. They run double sniper a lot of the time, so going to be difficult for them to come through on it, especially Short4's Widow game has gotten better and better every time he's played it.
His Widow, his everything game. I mean, it really does seem like Short4,
if you can
again, showing that versatility.
If you can hit a headshot, you can hit a hook, apparently. 67% accuracy. That was such a cool strategy coming out, knowing that Seoul being limited to what they can run based on their roster. They're like, oh, if they're going to run a Pharah, well, let's just hide in this house with every tank possible and never die.
Yeah, it worked out perfectly there on the last point in Nepal. Dominant victory for the Los Angeles Gladiators, but not having Fleta in the mix is definitely a thorn in Seoul's side, considering how Anubis went and how dominant he was on that map, just tearing him up. So at the end of the day, you always have to roll with the punches. That's why you have these sub opportunities.
The beautiful Outback Junkertown. What do you think that river's called? Give it some weird Australian name, because they name everything odd.
Waxamaheda.
That was so close to what I was going to say.
I totally, especially because that's Dutch. So I don't know where I was going with that one, but I don't know, dude.
All right, defensively, it is going to be a single support composition, oddly enough, for the Los Angeles Gladiators. Shaz is off on their support, who will flex onto DPS. When they run an offense on here, he will be playing the Bastion if they so choose to run that, but a lot of pressure onto Big Goose. Gonna have to keep Fissure and Bishu alive, so triple tank here. Roadhog, Widow, and a Junkrat. A lot to try to crack through, and it's going to be Munchkin on the Widow. Jaehong has run Mei on this map, will do the same again. Munchkin loses that battle immediately.
But Gambler is there to res him immediately. Also been kind of the theme so far tonight. Gambler, man, he has been Johnny on the spot with the reses. This time he survives, also a plus. Jaehong on the Mei is an interesting change as well, so.
Well, it's a very good zoning hero as well, especially if the other team is going to run on this high ground with their own Orisa. You just pop a wall in front of them and take all the push in the world. And he's trying to counter snipe, actually stays alive up against the hydration flank.
Woo. Still getting chunked down to half HP though. Will get topped up, and now we're on a flank mission here. The wall could come in handy for Jaehong, and he's gonna use it defensively. Instead of trying to chop off a piece of that defense. It will be the hook coming through though. That's a big one, and there we go. Jaehong, Icicle Snipe. Definitely managing to find these picks, and now he's gonna have that presence on the point. He's looking for the big target. Big Goose does barely manage to make it out. And well, yeah, Jaehong literally shuts him out.
Yeah, I mean, we might see a lot more Mei when the next patch rolls through. She got a little bit better, and that is a sniper versus sniper, but it's one who freezes the other. Meanwhile, though, Bishu has come alive, takes him down to himself.
Dude, that is not easy. Jaehong just hits that tire with an icicle. Get out. Jaehong's still alive in this fight. Big Goose, however, can't say the same. He's done.
Getting a little more in here. Blizzard is about to come up, and if they can get Bishu out of mech, they should find great value with it. So close, Bishu is so low, and Jaehong is trying to set his own platter right now. Nice pick up there.
There we go. That's what we're looking for. And flying, well, that's something. Okay, we got the Blizzard going down as well. Now Jaehong zoning out the point. They're making a lot of free progress here. Bishu gonna get demexed as well, and Fissure is so low. The rest of them just fall, getting caught in the corner, pinned to it by Zumba. Some modern art there.
Well, he got Bishu so low that eventually he jumped out of mech to try to re-mech there. That's when Jaehong tossed it in after he was done doing his flying icicle act there. Ice cube in the sky, not something you always see. Short4 makes a switch very early on, but now he's back to the Widow here on second point. Hydration is nearing a tire, but Soul with a great push there towards the end, and because that fight went on so long, at the end of the map, the offense is going to be in great position here, take this high ground away right away, and this is why Short4 switch very likely. What are you ever going to do against this Widow?
You're going to struggle and most likely die a lot. That's probably the answer you're looking for there. Munchkin, grappling hook out. And now they've got the infra side as well. They'll be able to see through walls. Gambler finally no longer relegated to pushing the payload duty. He can get in here and try and heal his teammates up, so that's going to be good for him. Got to chase out though, and no, Fisher not going to let him get out in one piece. Zaps him to death, and Fisher just barely hanging in there.
Well, the second great dive of this fight. The first was to dislodge them from the point, get them out of there, and that opened up some sightlines for Short4. He was able to get a pick off on the other side of things, and they've completely won this fight and pushed them all the way back. All that great positioning Soul had is all for naught as the defense takes away the high ground.
Now we get those support ultimates coming online here. Big Goose and Shaz, both, and well, Soul Dynasty. I mean, Jaehong probably not wanting to change because he's still got this Blizzard.
Door's closed. We're closed.
Come back later. 4 seconds though, quick cooldown on that wall. Let's see, hydration though, with the tire straight in. Zumba not gonna quite get D-Mech, although he is definitely going to get overwhelmed in the end by Bishu. Jaehong gets a little too greedy, a little too ahead of himself, and well, he got hydration on high ground. It's not gonna end well.
Yeah, unable to see that. They have switched Wakid over to the Genji to try to deal with part of this. And again, still running a solo support. Meanwhile, the Gladiators a while ago transitioned into double support. So Gambler has a lot of pressure on him because the rest of his team doesn't really have their own self-sustain either. Mei does with the ice block. You don't necessarily always want to be using that just to heal. You want to use it when you get yourself in a bad situation. See what they can find here. Short4 takes a lot of damage early.
Will survive though, that trance negating Wakid's Dragon Blade. And Fisher will eventually stomp Munchkin into the ground, so that's a feel-good moment for him. Short4 now pushing forward aggressively, looking for these targets. He knows that Wakid is holding on the right side, just wants him to peek out, but in the meantime, they've lost Gambler, Soul Dynasty.
But then they've lost the fight. Yeah, when you're running a single support like this, if you lose that support, that is just 100% over. The cleanup is just there. And Bishu is playing such a monstrous game. They're waiting on this Blizzard to get him out of mech so that it doesn't get eaten up. But he's been playing so passively. Look at that. Takes a little bit of damage, and he's back. He knows that he's what they're waiting on, and so he's just not dying. He's not giving them a chance.
Well, in the meantime, we have had Soul decide to change up the strategy. Jaehong was holding onto that Blizzard for a couple deaths, decides enough is enough. With 2 minutes left, we need to go to dive. So we will have the Discord in here, which can make the difference against these beefy tanks. It might put Fisher on notice. Munchkin swapped over to Tracer as well. He's pressuring. And while Shaz, his perspective right now is just lob orbs in at range, self-destruct, but he's got a wall to hide behind. Munchkin trying to take advantage of that though. Shaz dueling him, and Shaz gets overwhelmed.
Yeah, it's not the help back there that they needed. You see, the moment that Bishu saw that there was no Mei, he tossed in that self-destruct to get a new mech because that's exactly what he was waiting for. There was no way he was getting out of mech without being forced. Tire will force Zumba out of mech.
That was nicely done. He was about to lose that tire, gets it off in the nick of time. And well, Fisher, the wings are out. Gambler trying to survive, and Gambler gets canceled out again. Another wasted ultimate for Gambler.
It has not been the best day for Valkyrie mode for Gambler. He's gonna try to bring this back with a blade. 2 quick kills.
Oh, that's monster. Might not be enough though. Miro is alive, but he's 1v3. He's got Munchkin there trying to help him out, but it's not gonna be enough, and they have to go for yet another reset here, Soul Dynasty.
The Gladiator tank line is just dominating this game, which is a super intelligent play. I mean, who is better than Fisher? We all know the answer to that one right now, but Bishu is doing his part as well. Just being such a thorn in the side. If you could be annoying as D.Va, you're doing 80% of your job already.
Definitely one of the most annoying characters, yes.
Spoken like a true 76 player.
Well, Miro taking a peek onto the high ground, and he is just staying on this payload. Somebody needs to get in here and challenge it. Big Goose is there to tap it, contest for a second. They're down to 3 meters here, Soul Dynasty. And we're about to kick into overtime. Jaehong decides trance has to happen now to keep him alive, but Bishu has set up shop, and it's going to be a bit of a work here to get rid of him.
A nice dueling Transcendence is on the point. It's still so close between these two teams. Wiki dies, but that was after he took down Jazz. Now a couple more kills come in. The Hydration Fist is out. This can be a good counter to the tanks on the point. Who's going to be able to kill Hydration? It's not going to be D.Va unless his bomb hits. It does!
It does. Perfect. Big Goose was trying to keep him alive, keep him topped up. Big Goose now getting splattered against the wall, and they will manage to pick up the point. Seoul Dynasty, they hang in there. This time they make it work.
I was so nervous they were going to get off the cart there.
Yes.
I was so afraid. Hydration is going to switch onto the Genji here on this point. This is Jaehong on his Zenyatta, not his signature Ana, but still able to duel it out.
That is such a chaotic fight.
You don't really want to take that in a hallway against Zed. Big blade in for Zakid.
Whoa, not quite going to get the value out of it, though. Seems like he is just going to be able to get in here and, well, take a whole lot of damage to the face. No kills for him, unfortunately. And once again, Seoul Dynasty, they get through the second point. Yes, they make some progress, but that's where it's all halted. The Los Angeles Gladiators, this time, they've dug their heels in.
Well, Valk was forced out from Big Goose to stay alive, which is why that blade didn't look as good as it could have been. However, Seoul Dynasty, both of their support ultimates up. If I'm Gambler, I'm popping this before I even see an enemy and try to get some value out of this Valkyrie, which he's been struggling with throughout this set.
Well, no instant bubble. Could be a prime moment here exactly for the self-destruct right into the mix. Not going to find a target, unfortunately, for him, but still, Bishu does manage to get that mech right back online.
Both support ultimates popped at the exact same time from the Seoul Dynasty. That's a mistake no matter which way you cut it right there. You don't want to use both those at the same time. Blade's coming in to capitalize.
Oh, there we go. Jaehong gone immediately. There's the follow-up. Hydration not going to be... He doesn't believe in sharing, doesn't care about Fisher, robs him of the kill, and Miro not going to be able to touch the payload. It is going to be Seoul Dynasty getting ground down to a halt before the third point.
Communication and coordination just does not look on point between the Seoul Dynasty supports. Now, there's a situation where if you pop the Valkyrie, but then your Zenyatta gets super pressured down, which is what the Gladiators have been doing, then you have to pop Transcendence right there because you don't want to die and hope that you get resurrected and come back. So that's a situation where maybe it was correct to pop both of them, but it still doesn't look good on paper that they both pop them at the exact same time. The Gladiators' relentless pressure has been forcing these supports into uncharacteristic misplays.
This is communications that fine-tuned, well, it's the mind meld. You know, it's not every day. You're not going to be able to reproduce the Jaehong Toby mind meld overnight. You got to give it that. And so in these sorts of moments, perhaps that's where you see the mistakes and the pressure moments. Well, you are still playing against the likes of Fisher, who is always just going to be ramping it up on you.
Super aggressive on that tank play, but then you've got Bishu's kind of the counterpoint. He plays a little more passive. He knows exactly where he needs to go. He's just looking for pressure. And then there's those moments where he's like, I see a Zen alone, and he's dead. And I got him. So Bishu's been playing a very, very good D.Va so far. Works so well with his other tank. Gladiators are going to run their pirate ship composition, means that they're probably going to try a solo support early on. You know, right now they have 0 supports. I don't think that's the comp you want to run. At some point, Big Goose will very likely switch to a Mercy here. Shaz is their flex DPS from that support role.
He does manage to change it up every now and again, true.
I would love to see a 0 support comp. Actually, no, I wouldn't, because I'm going to play ladder tonight. And I don't want to see that.
Yeah, no, you definitely do not want it. That's actually the worst thing to see. When it does happen, we've all been there. Now, however, there is going to be one support at least here for the Gladiators. Question is whether Shaz will stay on the Bastion, trying to go for the double sniper Bastion pirate ship cannons, ready to get ablazing.
I think they will. This was something that they've run before, and they were very good at. You know, Shaz is a more than capable DPS flex. You see him come over to Genji on occasion. He's got a lot of heroes in his pool, and you can run solo support when you're running a Roadhog because he's his own support.
Exactly. Take a breather, keep him topped up on the HP. So Hydration gonna be looking for the money hook perhaps here. Does have targets.
Oh, that's a big kill though. No supports now alive for the Gladiators as Big Goose falls to Munchin. No can bring him back to life.
Not sure if that halt managed to get them off of the cart, however, Shaz is still present. Shaz's got the angle now. He's gonna be whittling down that shield. There's not gonna be anywhere to hide, and Bishu will get the kill on Jaehong, but that was with the help of Shaz and a hail of bullets to boot.
Bishu turning himself into a sacrificial lamb. They were just walking straight ahead, knowing he was going to die because he was out of defense matrix, but it allowed Hydration the time he needed to nail in those secondary fires. And the Seoul Dynasty defense nearly non-existent on first point. And we'll see if the Gladiators can get set up here. This is exactly where they want to be. Seoul's already up here. They need to deny letting Shaz get up onto this point.
Could be the hook attempt. That it is a big one right there. Miro deleted immediately. No possibility of a res this time for Gambler. And while Shaz not holding back, Straight tank mode, lobbing shells right into the thick of them.
The long-range artillery in effect is kind of, you know, getting a little bit of damage, not getting all the kills he needs. He's gonna heal himself up, but Munchkin, that is a huge kill because they almost had Shaz set up behind an Orisa shield.
Yeah, they are playing aggressive now, Soul Dynasty. Starting to turn up here, and they do manage to hold for now at least. Shaz is back into this fight though. He did get res, it looks like. But again, Munchkin will find the shot. The key kill, the headshot.
What's interesting about the Gladiators is that they will still try to run the Bastion even when they're not in ideal position to get the Bastion set up again. So they gave it a second life, which is usually the time where you'll start switching off. Shaz will go over to Zenyatta, and this is the point for the Gladiators that they often transition into full dive. You see, Hydration has the whole hog up, doesn't matter. He's gonna switch to Genji here, very likely. He's on his way back to spawn. It's exactly what happens. Shortfire was on Tracer for the moment, but I think they feel they need an answer for Munchkin, so he's going to go to a Widow.
See, you were praising him earlier. Whoa, couple of shots there. That was cutting it a bit close. Munchkin might have been able to get that headshot as they pass through the gap. See Matrix there to deny it and give the opening for Gladiators to start making their way through that choke point. And now Surefour's got the angle. It's a matter of him connecting bullets with heads here.
A Dynasty in a great position with both those support ultimates up. A Tire out. Trying to find some value. He's got a couple tanks down there. Fissure out.
That was a sick one, and now Bishu's been cut off. He will get the DMEC, but he will certainly get DMEC'd in turn. No escape, back into it. Mini Diva's running all over the place, and it's a 10-player kill streak for Munchkin. He's
turned up on this Widow, and they really needed it. Maybe he needed a map or so to warm up, and it's not what he normally plays. But when one person goes down on your team, someone else has to step up. This is a map that you absolutely need a Widow on, so Munchkin has answered the call for sure against Surefour. Haha. Surefour's still on that Widow, though. I'm not proud of it. I'm not proud of it. Don't give me that look.
Oh, you. Well, Wakid, he's struggling right now. He's up in the skies. Miro has found a pretty high-value target there, but decides to back off. He's got the Primal. Doesn't want to get too far away from the main fight. So they are still dancing around here. And well, he decides to go for the Primal just because he's caught Surefour again. Split off from his supports. Nobody there to help him. Gets juked, though. It's Surefour with the style plays. Whole ultimate just dedicated to trying to kill Surefour.
I actually don't mind it, though. He buys a lot of time. He tried to go for that door, which he thought Surefour was going to go to, but it's not that big of a deal to not get the kill onto Surefour as long as he didn't die out there. It buys him a ton of time, and Soul's been sitting on their support ults forever because they haven't needed them. You're getting these opening kills, and if you get that kill again, it's another 5 to 10 seconds you bought at the very least, so I think it's a fine trade.
Well, they decided that was the time to go. Everything thrown into it here for Los Angeles Gladiators. Munchkin deletes Bishu real quick before the rematch can come through. Could get the follow-up as well. Surefour out in the open, risky business. And there it is, the tire straight onto Shaz, although Big Goose should be able to get the res.
He's looking back there. Shaz,
maybe not.
Did use his Transcend too, so his post-Transcend, they're able to get their Soul. His defense has looked very, very good thus far.
All series long.
Yeah.
You gotta say, they look like they're struggling to get that coordination down pat on the offense. But when it comes over to the defense, this is where Soul, they're shining.
It just seems like they're out DMing as well. And now that you know where you want to set up on defense, where it can be a little weird on offense is, you know, where's this guy going to go? Do I have to follow him? What's our engages? But defense, you have much more set positions. You know where people are going to be, and you don't move unless you are moved off of the point. And thus far, the Gladiators have not put enough pressure on them to make them uncomfortable and move. Blade available, though. Hydration could bring this back. Fissure also can cause a lot of havoc with Primal Rage. We're below 90 seconds.
We are looking at a Munchkin just running amok right now on this map. 18 final blows and counting, and he always seems to get the high value ones. Well, speaking of high value, Hydration manages to get Gambler, but Wakid will trap him, ending his reign of terror. So it will be Munchkin continuing to just stay alive here in the back line. That payload has made so much progress back towards spawn that he can't even take the usual shot. Has to back off and give ground.
Fissure goes so deep to get Jaehong there, and now he's got another target in his sights, and Munchkin in trouble a little bit, but he's bought so much space for his team. But now they can come back. They can come back in and fight this. Zuma's got self-destruct, which can be very good on this point.
Yeah, Big Goose will be hard-pressed to find a res there, and so long way back for Fissure, unfortunately for him, and they decide this is the time to get in here, Soul Dynasty. Working together, moving together the tanks. Zumba there to challenge the payload, and now it's about finding these kills. 30 seconds left on the clock.
It's going to be a clutch Transcend if they need it, because Jaehong's got it up. No support ultimates on the other side, and they've been tracking this as well. They should know this coming into it. Munchkin, another kill onto Hydration.
There's a big opportunity here, though. Miro was able to cut off the back line, able to deny the supports the healing for their team. That might be the opportunity here. Seoul Dynasty could come up with a big clutch play here at the very end because they're getting whittled down now. Sure, you've got supports. You got Shaz. He's throwing the trance in there, just trying to buy time for hydration, for Fisher, for Surefour to make it back. There may be a chance, but it's not going to be good enough here for the LA Gladiators.
And now they're just going to pop Valkyrie just for good measure. Jaehong's going to hold on to Transcendence just to send a message that he doesn't even need it. And as poor as the support ults were on the offensive push, they were that much better on the defense. And the Seoul Dynasty will take Junkertown.
And we are now going in to the 5th map. It has gone the distance here. 2-2, tied up between Seoul Dynasty and the Los Angeles Gladiators. Anything, I mean, this is what's expected, but now we go into, well, it's going to be Oasis.
Yes, Oasis, and so we will very likely see the Far again. The Gladiators got the better part of it on Nepal. We'll see if the adjustments are going to be made from Seoul. 5th and final map coming up between the Gladiators and the Seoul Dynasty right after this.
The Overwatch League is brought to you by T-Mobile, America's best unlimited network. Omened by HP, the official PC and display of the Overwatch League. And by Intel, the official computer processor of the Overwatch League.
All right, guys, welcome back from the break. Map 5 coming up now between the Seoul Dynasty and the Los Angeles Gladiators. And really, the story of this series, it feels like, has been that Seoul struggle on the offense, but when it comes down to that defense, they are rock solid right now. Only problem is, we go to settle a tie on control.
Yeah, they did not look great on control, though they did take a stage, but I mean, that Junkertown, their defense just looks so gilled, and as someone of the appropriate height, I just want to, welcome Munchkin to the Lollipop Guild. He could be the new president right there. He hard carried so hard on that Junkertown defense, looks so good. I mean, his numbers speak for themselves as well. Do we still have those up?
We do. 31 libs, 22 final blows, and what, 3,500 more damage than the runner-up.
Yeah.
Like, get on my level.
22 final blows, although now we have to go to control, and it's been such a Pharah-heavy meta on Oasis. It always has been, especially Gardens. University, the least amongst them as far as control, or as far as Oasis goes when Pharahs are on the map. So if we start at University, you might see tank-heavy compositions from both squads. I do believe that is where we are going, but for all the marbles now, we go to Oasis, best of 3 control, tied up 2-2 between Seoul and Los Angeles. I can't call this one, nor do I want to.
No, this is a sick one. Look at this. Near mirror matchups. Surefour was keeping his guess in there for a second, but hey, he was hitting hooks left, right, and center over on Nepal. So yeah, definitely get the guy back on Roadhog. No problem at all there. But it's looking like the big beef tank strat yet again.
Yeah, it does look like that's coming out. And if they need a Zarya, Surefour's also got a really amazing Zarya in his pocket as well. And I think that's where they might struggle a little bit with the versatility. Bijou pretty much only plays D.Va. I think he's capable of running the Zarya, but this is the comp that they want to run. There is a Zarya on the other side from Zumba. It's one of his best heroes as well. And now we just have a Braveheart moment where they smack each other in the face.
Just out and out brutality. And Gambler not able to survive it. So much damage dealt right out the gates. A great bubble barrier there from Zumba onto Miro, allowing him to just charge in recklessly.
Yeah, I mean, dying to a fire strike there, it's kind of Munchkin's fault, to be honest, because you need to have the defense matrix up, or at least call out the timings so that people can dodge that fire strike. It does so much damage if it goes unchecked. And because of that early kill, the Gladiators will take this first point. And look at these ults already. That's what happens when everyone throws all the damage in the world at each other and both teams have a Moira.
Yeah, both of the Moira ults online. Hydration's just now getting his tire. He's 30% ahead of Wikid. That's pretty impressive considering the fight turned against him initially there. Now, are they gonna find it? Whoa, the perfect tire, point blank! Gets the D-Mech. That's gonna slow things down. Munchkin relegated to Baby D.Va form, and maybe not that for long.
Yeah, all things considered, that's not the biggest value tire, but you will take it at this point in time. And now the Coalescence committed to. Fisher's looking for it, comes around the corner, nails a huge Earth Shatter. The couple down. The follow-up is not enormous, but it is there. And now Grav comes in from the other side from Zumba late, but way too late in my opinion.
Yeah.
And ultimate, like Grav, you kind of want to make sure you're definitely going to win the fight with it. Not the case there. Now Zumba back in single-digit ult charge. Miro only 33% as well. Not great economy so far from Seoul.
Yeah, that was definitely a bit chaotic there. Starting to throw in ults, not quite getting the value out of him. And now, once again, we have the shields facing off. What a hook! And a perfect target for Surefour. Couldn't have asked for better. Jaehong is out. That's all the healing throughput there for Seoul Dynasty.
It's not just that Surefour is hitting hooks. He's hitting hooks miles away, max range, where you're throwing your keyboard on the ground thinking, why don't they nerf hook? It goes way too far. Just all the way across the screen, you feel that you're safe, but not when Surefour is on the field. He has hit so many good hooks on his limited Roadhog play so far. Munchkin, now onto a DPS, will play Reaper, which can be an answer to this.
What a sick play. Now you go, okay, fine, Munchkin, you're instantly forced out, pinned against the wall, nowhere to go. They do have the sound barrier, and that is going to connect with quite a few. Bijou gets D-Mech towered by Wikid's tire, not the hugest play. But they are now into overtime on this point. Los Angeles Gladiators still looking pretty solid here, although Miro is pressing them back.
It's almost been purposeful by Bijou to try to go into these tires because getting out of mech is not the worst case scenario there. Losing supports is always the worst case scenario. Jaehong will take down Baby D.Va, and Seoul has taken control. 99% on the other side of things. Only one more fight needed to take this first stage. And let's keep some eyes on Fissure, who's lurking below, being as quiet as Reinhardt can be.
Yeah, how does a ton of armor sneak?
Oh, he's so far behind them right now. He is all the way behind them, and they have no idea. He's come up the back stairs looking for an enormous flank shatter.
Oh, he can get him high value right here, right through the middle of it. Boom! What? No, doesn't manage to get the one. Zumba is gone, deleted immediately. That's big. And Jaehong eventually goes down. Fisher will be able to trade it 1 for 2. That does set it up nicely. We get a tire going in here from Hydration, looking to clinch it here for his team. Not gonna find it, he gets smooshed.
He almost got Miro on the charge, but Miro will take down Hydration. Meanwhile, they have flipped the point back over. Tit for tat, a tire comes in from Wakid, takes down Shaz, who did not have fade. And it seems like they should be able to hold this. Wow, a huge self-destruct. They lost full DPS.
Lost both DPS. Miro manages to delete or cancel out that Earth Shatter, though. They're all going for the group hug Gladiators, but they're fine with that because they're surviving. Barriers getting traded in and out. And now, once again, we're into the overtime scenario where Seoul Dynasty are battling to flip this point. They've lost their main tank and yet again failed to touch the point.
Yeah, Group Hug will describe that one about as best as possible because nothing bad happened in it. Everyone just had a bonding moment while Shore4 let loose the Whole Hog. Whole Hog's actually really good when you get grabbed. It keeps everyone away, pushes all that away from you, and no source of damage there. 2 pretty poor ultimates. I can't excuse the first one necessarily. The second one, you're running out of time. If you know, use them if you got them. There's no point in going to spawn with it, but we expect a little more out of Zumba's Zarya there than we got. And the Gladiators, 1 stage away on Oasis from taking the set against the Seoul Dynasty. Oddly enough, the Gladiators not going to run a Pharah here. Meanwhile, Seoul will opt into it. Wakid on that Pharah, Munchkin on the ground as Tracer. Hydration will play this Sombra on this map, of all things. Not the most standard of picks, but there is a big pack to play around in middle.
That's something to keep in mind. That EMP also could definitely go to ruin in a few days. I mean, Pharah, if you get EMP, you drop out of the sky like a sack of bricks.
It seems like that is the angle they want to go to. They want to try to take this high ground. Hack does not come in. Meanwhile, they lose 2 very early on. Hydration gonna escape with his life, but that is it. No kills going on. And I have to question how much longer they're gonna stick on this Sombra. I mean, yep, there's 1 big pack, but almost none of the fighting at the professional level takes place out there. It all takes place in this arena. Gods of the gladiatorial sands inside here. And it's all the packs he hacks are pretty much just for him.
But they're named the Gladiators, Hex. You think that they would excel
I'm
given
aware.
what you've just described.
I've been watching a lot of Spartacus lately.
Yeah, buddy. That is definitely time not wasted. Oh, spicy moment there. Hydration will be able to survive, though. 50% on that EMP. Needs to get it cooking here as quick as possible. Munchkin gets sniped by Shaz. He was going for a flank, not for long. Denied, deleted, and well, now it's on Wakid here to deliver the damage for Seoul Dynasty. Trance gets thrown in by Jaehong, deciding that's enough. Needs to try and keep his teammates alive long enough to get that Tracer back in the fight.
And they got a pressure on the ground too, and meanwhile, unable to take down Shaz earlier, it really comes back to bite them as he's now in on the Transcend here. A good job of stall. This is one of the harder points to completely evict a team off of, especially when they have a Far Mercy. That's a big kill onto Fisher. Trying to set up this barrage, he needs to get away from Bishu.
Yeah, but now, oh, had he survived, that could have been it. That could have been a barrage moment. Instead, Bishu denies him. Had he survived, then he's like, right, D.Va cannot launch herself at me bodily to stop me from barraging you in the face.
It is one of the best ways to actually deal with a Far Mercy on here is to get a self-destruct over the top because there's no place to hide, especially when they're over there. Beautiful hack will put that Mercy on the ground, and that is the finishing play there. Hydration now, EMP alive, and a good job of only using a single support ult means Big Goose will have Sound Barrier up for this next fight. Hydration looking for it here.
Don, you don't want to just go into the infinite spam of the D.Va. We'll get the hack. That is nice. The silence there on Miro. Left wondering what happened to himself. And there we go. Sound barrier out. There isn't a chance here. We could get that EMP, and sure enough, it is. And there you go. Wakid just dropping out of the sky immediately, but nobody here to follow up. No kills at all, in fact.
No, not enough, and the very early kill onto Shaz really hurt that fight because even though Big Goose has Sound Barrier does not bring people back to life. And that's what they really needed there was a resurrection to get both supports. Hydration doing a great job of stalling, being invisible on the point. They don't know where he is. Finally taken down.
That's where you just spamming 360s if you're D.Va. Hope to clip up 5-player kill streak right now for Zumba. Feel good.
They bought a lot of percent based on this play. Look at this stagger coming in, and usually this is bad for your team. You are feeding up a lot of ults, but it doesn't matter. Seoul already has 6. They will get themselves a percentage there. And now Seoul will take the percentage lead going into this, and unless something terrible happens, they're in a great position to win the next fight or so.
Oh yeah, they should be locking it down now. with all of these ultimates. If they stagger them out appropriately, it's going to take a while for Gladiators to catch up. Shaz has got trance.
I would like to see them initiate with a Bishu self-destruct. Right where this combo is right now, it's very difficult to avoid that. And if they can avoid it, it means that you're going to take a 6v4 on the ground.
Oh, buddy, a bit chaotic there, but Munchkin managing to thread the needle. Trance has been forced. Now there's going to be a chance here. Munchkin's thrown his in. We've had Zumba go for the DMAC as well. Miro going primal right now. Just ults getting used left and right. It's now Gambler trying to keep his teammates alive. Wikid gets caught by the self-destruct, but not before removing Shaz from the picture as well. Jaehong ejected. Gambler brings Wikid back. This is all over the place now as Jaehong has got the long run back into this fight. He's the last ult that Seoul have to use.
Yeah, Bishu got half of it right there, but was unable to get the Mercy, but they will evict them from the point, throw them all the way out. They do get Gambler on the late part of that. Big Goose in this hallway. And sends him off the edge.
That was it. That was the play right there.
Seoul Dynasty do have the Zenyatta ultimate to come in and work with. Oh God, what a mind game right now. Hydration versus Jaehong. Oh, he just jukes him out though. We've seen this so many times before, the mind games. The EMP still held, but Jaehong has no choice there. You have to pop that.
Has to pop it, gets it out, gonna try and lead his team onto the point with it. They are divided in half now, but Jaehong gets smushed by Fisher. Hydration is there to find it and gets denied. EMP gets used, but Wikid cuts him short. And Wikid point blank with the rock is trying to make the difference here for Seoul Dynasty. It's 99-99, and Wikid's got the barrage as well, ready to go.
It's not enough. It's not enough, and the Gladiators take it down and take the series against the Seoul Dynasty.
Whew. We've found the Achilles heel here for Seoul Dynasty so far this stage. Turns out they just cannot figure out how to beat teams from Los Angeles.
You know why Sombra can be good there, especially against a bar, is because they give you that high ground to get close to the bar. So you saw the hacks going down onto the Mercy. She's on the ground, and then you've got the coordination with your tanks to come in and finish that. The EMP with the mind games on Jaehong. It is an area where Sombra can still be effective by taking the high ground, and that's where Pharah and Mercy like to hang out. Over the ocean over there, where no one can really get to them, where it's an escape, where you can spam all the entries. An interesting strategy. Not the first time we've seen a super interesting strategy from the Gladiators, especially coming into this. But for more on the Gladiator strategy, let's go hear what the desk has to say.
Los Angeles, how do you guys feel about your Gladiators right now? Massive Game 5 victory tonight. They go the distance against Seoul, and we're going to walk you through the action and how we got here. So we started off at halftime 1-1. We were entering Game 3 Nepal with the tied series. Johnny, you were calling the Gladiators. Was rubbing it out.
So competitive.
Sideshow was not.
All right, I didn't realize that Fleda was out due to illness as well.
You should have seen this coming.
I should have seen that coming. To be fair, though, this was absolutely excellent counterplay by the LA Gladiators. I think the more you can push Seoul Dynasty to using tanks, the worse they look. They really seem to favor Zunba on the Zarya, and I don't think that's the best. When you're running triple tank v triple tank, Surefour was getting so much more work done than Zunba was.
I mean, Surefour had an extraordinary game on this Road Dogg, even in the end on Oasis as well. So a huge factor to why Gladiators won this map, because it looked really dark here. They're down 1-0 on Nepal. Seoul Dynasty has 77% on the cap meter, but they bring it back, and really just getting the momentum there is the key.
Look at that slippery movement from Gambler as well to get away. He had a lot of deaths during this series. You got to ask, would they perhaps have been better running Toby? I don't think they would have. When you look at this series overall, perhaps they would have if they'd been running Fleda. But I think that Gambler was caught out in quite a few situations, particularly when he ran had his Valkyrie. But the technical ability is definitely there. Gambler is a very good merc.
Those shots from Munchkin on Junkertown is what I felt kept Seoul in this series. The Widowmaker. You're missing Fleda. Munchkin stepping up big in those shoes. But that just gets us to a Game 5.
Yeah, I mean, we talked about it, how Surefour is supposedly one of the best Widows in the league. So Munchkin, out of nowhere, really, just goes toe-to-toe with him and brings it to map 5.
So says Fisher that Surefour is one of the best Widow
Yeah,
players in
but
the league.
Fisher is the most handsome main tank in the league.
And
there is no one better than
Look
Fisher.
at that! Look at that handsome shatter!
With the Reinhardt shatter.
Okay, that was
like godly play.
That really was. He got knocked down into the pit halfway through the previous fight, snuck around. Nobody saw him whatsoever and gets a 4-man shatter there.
Most
handsome, most sneaky.
Who is
Reinhardt.
the best Reinhardt in the league?
I think I would go for Fisher. Yeah, I think he is the best Reinhardt in the league.
Nobody's better.
You guys clearly have not been watching my clips. All right, here's a look at some Big Goose clips, though. See you later, Zenyatta. Gladiators get the victory, but it wasn't a sure thing going into that Game 5.
No.
Sideshow, you thought your team had a chance. What happened to Soul? Why did the Gladiators get the edge at the very end?
Well, I think when you're going into Oasis and your whole game plan is tailored around playing the Pharah, particularly on the city center and gardens, and you don't have Fleder and instead you're running with Wakid, you lose some of that superstar player impact because Fleder is just incredible when it comes to the Pharah. But also they were losing some of the ground battles. I felt like although they were able to play around the Sombra fairly well, they had a bit of trouble retaking at times. And so there are still things for Soul to work on.
Well, Soul's anti-dive in general has been pretty poor so far this season, and that's maybe one of the reasons why Gambler keeps dying. So maybe you need to protect your supports a bit better than we've seen Soul.
I was just looking at the numbers here for Soul and who they have to face off against in the future. Currently, they're now 2-2 in Stage 3. Next week, you get a nice start against the Shanghai Dragons, but then you're playing Boston and then Philly for your third match.
Those are going to be
the road's about to get real bumpy for Soul here.
Yeah, that's 2 good matches for me to beat Sideshow in predictions again.
I like that. I like that. Well, for now, guys, we have to crown our player of the match, sponsored by Omen by HP. He's wearing purple, and he played Sombra instead of the Pharah at the very end. Hydration showed us so many different heroes throughout these 4 games.
He definitely did. And he came out with an excellent performance on the Genji here as well. Had that showing on Doomfist as well.
Knocking coconuts out of the tree.
And we were kind of asking why have they gone back to Hydration rather than Silk Thread. But the amount of heroes this guy can play alongside Sureform means they can essentially run every strategy, I think.
Taking a look at his numbers, his Junkrat numbers were most impressive tonight. 50 limbs to just 15 deaths, 29 of those final blows.
And you just gotta love the versatility on the Gladiators. They also have Surefor able to play this Junkrat, so you never know what you're gonna get with the Gladiators when it comes to the DPS duos.
Yeah. All right, so the question I have for you guys, looking at the Gladiators, they now improved to 3-1, right? You got Valiant, you got NYXL, you got London. You've already taken down Soul tonight. Do they have a chance against the other 2 top teams on our overall leaderboard in London and New York XL?
I think the surprise factor with the DPS duo definitely gives them a chance. I don't think that the Gladiators are necessarily the favorites going into any of those matchups, honestly.
No, I would say they're the underdogs for all 3, particularly the NYXL game. I don't think they're going to be able to win that one. But with London being in a bit of a slump and Valiant looking mortal today, I think definitely the Gladiators have got an outside chance, and they need all the wins they can get because they're trying to get in the overall playoff spots.
Absolutely, and let's take a look at our stage standings here as we wrap up the night. We mentioned the Valiant showing that, well, they can at least draw a game. They still haven't dropped a map here in Stage 3. They sit on top of the leaderboard at 4-0. Now, a little bit later, we're going to see the Gladiators. And Josh, you mentioned it. These guys need every single map. Only +4. You see everybody else in double digits above them.
Yes, and now they're in 8th place. But they do have those 13 wins. They could overtake the Houston Outlaws. LA Valiant still catchable as well. And when you look at the division that they're in, they're really only contesting with Valiant and Dynasty.
Ignore what I said about the Valiant maps. That match against Dallas was a little bit further than I expected. Tomorrow, Johnny, though, we got some awesome matches coming our way.
Absolutely, and I'm looking for Florida versus Boston, because if Boston 4-0s, they're going to climb in the standings and taking a 3rd place spot.
Every single game is incredible, man. That is a fat game of matches we've got tomorrow.
The fattest of matches. It's coming your way, and it kicks off early tomorrow. Don't forget to stick around, though, at the end of tonight for our player of the game, Hydration. We'll be answering all of your questions on Twitch All Access. If you don't have your All Access pass, guys, it's free through Stage 3. Get it right now. Listen to Hydration. Send them some questions, including who is your favorite desk host. That's going to do it for us tonight. We'll see you tomorrow at 1 p.m. Pacific.
Golden Boy.
It's good.
Unfortunately, What's up, guys? I'm Hydration from the Los Angeles Gladiators, and I'm here to answer your questions from the All Access Twitch Pass. So first question, we got Holographic 11577. What adjustments do you have to make when switching between different projectile heroes? The biggest adjustment you have to make is just like know how fast each projectile is, and just keep that in mind whenever you're shooting the gun. Another question, Cosmic Cadet, if you could have any superpower, what would it be? Freeze time. That way I could like sleep for an infinite amount of time. Mr. Toontastic, what is the origin behind naming yourself Hydration? That's a that's a classic question. The truth is, when I was making a Battle.net account, I needed to come up with a username, and there was nothing around, or like nothing in my brain that like I could think of that was a good username. But then there was a bottle of Gatorade on my desk, and it says Hydration on it, so I just went with it. It's not the best name, but you know, it's getting there. Lucino asks, what is your favorite map type to play on? I'm a very big fan of playing on the control map type. You know, it's just fighting the whole time. There's no like objective you really have to care about. It's like what DPS players really like to play. Then we got the Corn Dog Lover. What advice would you give to someone that is looking to improve that shares your unique hero pool? Well, the only advice is just keep playing. The only way you're gonna get better is from playing the game. So just keep grinding the game and just keep trying to improve yourself. Don't worry about the teammates you get in ranked. Just improve on yourself. Major Falcone, should pineapple be on a pizza? No. Hex Jinx _ as a DPS player, do you feel it's best to specialize in projectile or hit scan, or try to play a mix of both? Definitely try to play a mix of both. You really need to be flexible to really be successful. A lot of times they'll counterpick you, and if you can't switch off your hero, then you're gonna lose because it's just bad. So be flexible, learn all the heroes, you know, and just win the game. Do you feel it is better, or YDoc126, do you feel it's better to be amazing at one hero or just good at many? Good at many, you know. I am an amazing Doomfist, but I am also good at many. The Foxtrot, is Pharah your favorite hero, and what is your biggest tip in positioning for maximum impact and survivability? Pharah is not really my favorite hero, that would be Lucio. But to stay alive and like be really useful in a fight as Pharah, just don't die. Get good angles. Make sure you know like where the D.Va is, because D.Va is like the only thing that can really mess you up. You kill the D.Va, and then you're basically free. Also, watch out for Widows. They're kind of scary. Dilemma-ly, what kind of hero would you like to see added to the game? I really want like an off-tank similar to Roadhog, but instead of like a hook and a shotgun, I wish he had like a crossbow mounted to his arm, like a giant ballista kind of. It'd be pretty sick. It's like it's just a tanky Hanzo basically. It'd be a pretty cool hero. How do you avoid getting burnt out? Just don't play too much. You know, if it feels like you're getting burnt out, like just kind of relax a bit. You know, I like to play some Hearthstone on my downtime. It's a pretty fun game. Just don't overplay Overwatch too much sometimes. What is your favorite part about LA? Dark Bablino. Dark Bablino. My favorite part about LA is the food and the weather. All the restaurants that I go to is just, food is fantastic. There's so much meat everywhere. And the weather is always fantastic. It like rains like once a day, or not once a day, or once a month. Very different time. Vesky, if you could cosplay one hero from Overwatch, who would it be? Bastion. Just be a robot, because that's what I feel like I am. The Bomba Luigi. Yo, Hydration, what is your favorite animal? My favorite animal is cats. I like cats. They're nice. And they're soft. How many hours do you think that you have put into practicing Overwatch from the Pokemonster _? Probably like at least 5,000. I've been playing this game for like the past 2.5 years. Been playing since closed beta. Vanadice _ SLT. How do you manage Genji's ultimate? What's the best situation in your opinion to use it? There's never a good situation to use that thing. Whenever you pull it, 6 players will look at you, they will use every single cooldown on you, and you're just going to get booped all over the map, and then you're going to miss all your slashes, and then your dash is going to get messed up, and you're going to die. Just don't play Genji. Apollo 2 Airs. Do you like playing your role, or is it just what you're best at? It is what I'm best at, but what I like playing is Lucio. I wish I could get in that Lucio role. It's definitely my favorite hero. You can just mess around a lot with Lucio and just boot people all over the place. A wild Yami enters. Who is your favorite superhero or villain? I don't really like watch or read those comic books or like movies, so I don't really have a favorite superhero. Charlie Higgins. Which teammates do you think would last the longest in the Hunger Games? Who would last the longest? Probably Remix. He's pretty smart about things. He's also fast. Holt Beast. What is one country that you really want to go to that you've never been to? Oh, what is one country? You spelled that wrong. One country. I've been to like so many countries. I don't really know like where I want to go. Maybe South Korea. It's a pretty cool place, you know. All the good players are from there too. So maybe I can like become one of them too. All right, that's all questions I have. So thanks for watching the All Access questions, and shout outs to the fans. It's great seeing you guys like cheer us on, especially the hydration men in the crowd today. They had all the water bottles strapped onto him. That guy's always been there for like the past few days, like 3 or so, and he's always like super hype. He's always screaming my name. It's nice seeing you out there. Make sure you follow me on Twitter at Hydration.